I'm pretending to cultivate immortality in kindergarten. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1, Failed Transmigration and Pretending to be a Immortal. Linchang Town, Sunshine Hope Kindergarten. A ray of morning sun shines through the window onto the speechless face of a little boy. He listens to the nursery rhymes playing in the classroom and looks at the beautiful teacher in a floral dress standing on the podium and beating the rhythm. He gently says in a coaxing tone, "Children, listen to the teacher twice more, and then sing together Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star." The little boy sitting in the back row by the window is called Lin Hengren. He is 5 years old this year and is currently a junior in the 3rd class of the senior class. He was originally 28 years old, and his family had just received a huge amount of demolition compensation. He was forcibly bound by the dog system and traveled to this world. According to the system, this is the world of immortals, full of monsters and ghosts, bizarre, and the living conditions of the people are very cruel. And I have to start from an ordinary casual cultivator, step by step to improve my cultivation, expand my power, until I establish a sect and become the strongest in the world. But, this broken system. Let's not talk about whether I am willing to travel through time or not. Are you a pirated copy? Can you open your eyes and look at what you are doing? Is this still China? Why are there cars, high-rise buildings, and hot pot restaurants on the streets of the world of cultivation? Why am I in kindergarten? And meow, why am I only 5 years old? I can't even swear anymore. System activation completed. Congratulations to the host for successfully crossing over. It is detected that the world you are in is the Reiki continent. The cultivation level of the Reiki continent ranges from 1 to 100. You can become a god only after reaching level 100, and you can obtain an exclusive skill every 10 levels, which can significantly enhance the host's combat power. Lin Hengren heard the voice of the pirated system in his mind. It is not unfair to say that you are a pirated version of this setting. You are now at level 1, with ordinary qualifications. You are very confused when you first enter this world. After crossing over for a month, your cultivation has not changed at all. You are confused and worried about how to walk on the road ahead. Today you finally meet a strange fate. On the road, you met He Qing from the righteous sect, and the other party's cultivation level does not seem to be high. Through eavesdropping, you know that she has a pure yang treasure pill hidden on her body. After eating it, it is said that it can greatly improve your cultivation. Paired with another red blood pill, it can reshape your bones. You have to find a way to get the treasure pill, so that you can change the problem of your mediocre qualifications. If you really can't get it, you can only blame your shallow luck and have to look for another chance. No, buddy, why hasn't the time travel bug been fixed in a month? The system is GG. I beg you to open your eyes and look. I am now in the modern society. There is no He Qing who holds the treasure pill. What chance am I robbing? Lin Hengren? Lin Hengren, you pressed my hair. The mosquito at the same table interrupted Lin Hengren's thoughts with a coquettish voice. The cute little girl in a pink skirt and ponytail was looking at Lin Hengren innocently at this moment. The girl's name was He Qing, Lin Hengren's deskmate and childhood sweetheart, and the child of the neighbor. Lin Hengren, my hair. Her voice was not loud, and she seemed to be very afraid of the other party. Lin Hengren turned his head and looked, and his fierce eyes really saw that the other party's hair had been pressed under his arm at some point. But he did not raise his arm, but curiously asked, "Who told you to put your hair under my arm?" Little He Qing was aggrieved, and did not dare to talk back. "I'm sorry, it's my fault." "Then can you raise your arm? Otherwise I can't move, I need to go to the bathroom." She was afraid that Lin Hengren would not agree, and took out a piece of milk candy from her pocket. "I'll give you this candy. This is what my mother gave me this morning, just this one." Lin Hengren was too lazy to argue with a child, and raise his arm. Little He Qing quickly pulled out her hair and smoothed it, and timidly put the milk candy in front of him. "You eat." After putting it down, she looked up at the teacher on the podium, hesitantly covering her bulging belly, with a tangled face. "I don't eat this thing." Lin Hengren didn't like sweets very much, and wanted to return it to the other party, but the voice of the system came out as soon as he picked up it. "I didn't expect that you could deceive the fairy of the famous and upright sect into handing over the pure yang treasure pill directly with just sweet words and without a single knife or gun. Awesome, you should take it immediately. Otherwise, if the other party regrets, You will lose this opportunity. And since you see that this fairy is so easy to fool, you might as well ask her what other treasures she has and take them all, or just quit while you are ahead and say goodbye. Lin Zhengren, looking at the milk candy in his hand, Lin Zhang suddenly realized that this system is blind? Wait, could it be? Lin Zhengren looked at the milk candy in his hand, and for some reason he opened the wrapping paper and swallowed it. Who knew that after eating it, he felt refreshed and sweet in his mouth? A milky taste came from the tip of his tongue. Oh no! A force came out of his fist. At this moment, Lin Zhengren felt that he could kill a big mosquito with his bare hands. The treasure pill improves your cultivation, and your cultivation level is upgraded to level 3, and your strength is increased by 1, and your physical strength is increased by 1. Although it is different from the world described by the system, Lin Zhang actually felt that his strength has increased. Little He Qing beside her heard that she didn't want to eat it, and thought he would give it back to her, but she saw that he changed his mind and ate it again, and said in a baby voice, "You didn't say you didn't want to eat it?" Lin Zhengren was stunned for a moment and then reacted. It turned out that this system can still be used even if the crossing failed? That's interesting. He looked at He Qing meaningfully. He Qing thought that she had made him unhappy with her words, so she lowered her head and covered her stomach, very scared. "I didn't say anything," Lin Zhengren asked with a smile. "He Qing, do you have anything else to eat?" He Qing shook her little head, and the ponytail on the back of her head shook twice. "No," Lin Zhengren smiled horrifyingly. "Are you sure? I remember your mother gave you a lot of snacks in the morning." He Qing still covered her stomach, touched her pocket and took out a jujube from it. "This is the only one. I have eaten everything else." Red blood pill. "This is the perfect match for the pure yang treasure pill. I didn't expect your luck to be so good today. If you take these two pills together, your mediocre qualifications will be improved. From now on, the door to the world of cultivation will be open to you." Sure enough. Although the world is different, as long as you do similar things, you can still get rewards by circumventing the system bug. Lin Zhengren took the jujube from her hand, and saw that she was suddenly teary-eyed and seemed to be about to cry, so he said helplessly, "I'm not taking your things for nothing. You are holding your stomach because you want to go to the bathroom, but you don't dare to call the teacher, right? I will help you call the teacher, but the jujube belongs to me, okay?" When He Qing heard this, her face was incredible. In her impression, the big brother next door, Lin Zhengren, seemed to be always fierce. How could he say this? "Can you say something?" Lin Zhengren asked again. Little He Qing nodded repeatedly in fear. Lin Zhengren raised his hand without hesitation. "Teacher. He Qing wants to go to the bathroom." He Qing didn't expect the other party to shout it out loud, blushing, and all the classmates looked over. But the kindergarten teacher was used to it. "Go, come back soon." He Qing was flustered and surprised. She stood up and responded timidly, "Thank you, teacher, I will be back soon." Then she looked at Lin Zhengren, who was studying jujube with gratitude, and hurriedly left the classroom to go to the bathroom. She could not hold it anymore. Lin Zhengren ate the jujube. He clearly felt that something was improving. As a result, the kindergarten teacher coughed and severely criticized someone. "Little Lin Zhengren, you are not allowed to eat snacks in class, do you know? It will affect other children. Eat after class, terrible. After you took the fairy's treasure, there was a voice transmission threatening you. I think the fairy master is protecting the other party thousands of miles away. Fortunately, you did not fight with the fairy just now, otherwise you would be retaliated by the other master. This scares you a lot, and you think to yourself that you better be careful in this world, otherwise your life will be in danger. You have successfully absorbed the red blood pill, and your aptitude has changed from mediocre to mediocre. Your level has been raised to 4, and your energy has increased by 1. Lin Zhengren, got it, teacher. It seems that this is an narration system, but it is true that fortune and misfortune are interdependent. At least in this world, I have almost no worries about my life, and I can develop rapidly in the future. How should I practice in this world? I can't just take pills to make progress, right? Wait, don't tell me I have to read books to study. Lin Zhengren tried to open a kindergarten children's book. Practicing, this is an elementary practice book. After memorizing all of it, you can break through to level 5. Lin Zhengren, you meow. It really is. The difficulty of practice in the later stage is too great. Chapter 2 The perfect life is waving at me. A small panicked sound came from the girl's bathroom. Little He Qing pressed the flush button and looked at her wet sleeves. Because she was in a hurry, Something accidentally splashed on them. She hurried to the sink and wanted to wash it with water. But the bell for the end of get out of class rang. A little boy passed by the sink and saw her washing and smelling her cuffs. He was stunned and asked curiously, "What are you doing? Did you just pee on your wrist?" Little He Qing blushed and lowered her head when she was caught, and she hurried to wash. The boy suddenly smiled arrogantly and even shouted, "Come and see, come and see. This girl peed on her clothes. She's washing clothes." His shout attracted many children to watch. He Qing was so scared that she burst into tears, and she didn't dare to look back with tears in her eyes. Lin Zhengren, who was in the classroom, also heard the shout. And the sound of the system appeared at the same time. You and He Xianzi just separated when you heard the sound of fighting in the distance. It seems that the fairy was bullied by a villain. If you save the fairy, the villain will probably thank you with treasures, but not saving her is also an option. After all, cultivating immortals is dangerous, and everything needs to be considered carefully. Lin Zhengren walked out of the classroom and saw that it was He Qing who was surrounded by the crowd and hid there wiping tears in grievance. He walked over without hesitation and squeezed into the center of the crowd, who shouted just now, "Is there something wrong? Come out." When everyone saw that it was Lin Zhengren, they didn't dare to speak. Because someone was a notoriously bad guy in the kindergarten, never playing with any children, not liking to talk to people, and always speaking fiercely, everyone was afraid of him. But because he was handsome, many little girls secretly thought he had personality. Now that he shouted, no one dared to speak. Little He Qing wiped her tears in grievance and stood there staring at Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren walked up to her and said, "Why are you crying? Can't you just yell back when someone says something to you? You just cry." Little He Qing has a weak personality, doesn't like to talk, and doesn't like to quarrel with others. On weekdays, quite a few guys like to bully her as a joke. For this reason, as a childhood sweetheart who occasionally comes to his house for dinner, Lin Zhengren will occasionally stand up for her. "Woo woo, don't cry. I won't care about you if you cry again." Little He Qing stopped crying, stood there with red eyes and sniffed. Lin Zhengren asked, "Who bullied you? Point it out to me yourself." Little He Qing lowered her head and didn't say anything. Lin Zhengren pulled her face with a dark face. "Will you tell me?" In fact, it didn't hurt, but Little He Qing still whimpered in grievance until she looked at the man. Lin Zhengren looked back and saw that the little boy was trembling and his face was pale. Lin Zhengren stared at the boss. "You are the one who bullied He Qing. I just asked you to come out. Why didn't you come out? Come on, I'll take you to see the teacher now. If the teacher doesn't care, we'll go out and fight." He walked towards the boy while talking, but before he finished, the boy started crying and whispered, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." Lin Zhengren grabbed his clothes. "It's easy to scare a child. Who can hear you if you shout so softly? Didn't you shout loudly just now? Shout again. Say sorry to He Qing." I'm sorry, He Qing. I hope you forgive me." The little boy was so scared that he burst into tears when he saw how terrifying Lin Zhengren was. Seeing that the deterrent effect was there, Lin Zhengren left the crowd without looking back. Little He Qing looked at Lin Zhengren's back, her face flushed with tears, and she hurried to follow him, but she heard the voices of people around her while following. She heard the girls watching talking to each other. Lin Zhengren is so cool. Yes, he has a lot of personality. Little He Qing pursed her lips and followed Lin Zhengren closely. "You chose to save the fairy, and the fairy was very grateful to you. After the battle just now, the fairy saw that you were extraordinary, and she actually wanted to go through this dangerous world with you. For you, it is an important choice whether to go through it alone or with others in the future. Choose?" "I don't know how to choose. How can I go through the world at the age of 5? Don't I have to go to class tomorrow? The next 2 classes are entertainment time. The students of class 3 are playing in the yard of the kindergarten." Lin Zhengren sat next to the slide, and Little He Qing stood next to him with her head down. Not speaking, not daring to sit or walk, as if she had made a mistake. Lin Zhengren was helpless. He was not a very fierce person in his previous life, but He Qing's personality was too stupid and cute. She didn't know how to resist when being bullied, and she couldn't utter a word for a long time, which made it really difficult for people to talk to her in a good tone. "Why are you standing in front of me? You are blocking my sun," Little He Qing said, and took 2 steps to the side in panic. "Lin Zhengren, standing next to me is blocking my wind." "Huh?" Little He Qing panicked. "Then where should I stand?" "You can't sit down, Keek, except for you, everywhere else is dirt." Then sit on the dirt. Okay, He Qing really wanted to sit down. Okay, you big-headed ghost. Sit next to me. Little He Qing was startled, but seeing that the other party agreed, she carefully sat down next to Lin Zhengren. With her legs together and her hands together, she hesitated for a while before timidly speaking, "Zzz, you just saved me, how can I repay you? Do you have any snacks?" Little He Qing fluttered her head. "I really don't have any on me, but I still have some candies at home and in my bedroom." Little He Qing used her hands to describe the size of the box, which was the size of two small hands, about this much, full of it, several thousand. Lin Zhengren thought to himself that she really didn't know the size of the number. A storage box, right? "Give me all." Little He Qing nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. "Okay, I'll give you all. Do you want anything else? The fairy's reward is very generous. She actually promised to give you a whole box of sect elixirs. And from the tone, it seems that she has an extremely important treasure. Do you plan to take it for yourself or let it go for now?" Hearing the system prompt, Lin Zhengren was curious. "What else do you have?" Little He Qing said reluctantly, "I still have a big chocolate at home. My father bought it for me on my birthday. I usually put it carefully under the closet and don't want to eat it." Lin Zhengren saw her expression and asked He Qing if he could take a look. Little He Qing nodded, and promised to show it to Lin Zhengren tonight. Not long after, the kindergarten bell rang, and the beautiful teacher organized the children in the third class of the senior class to line up and walk out of the school gate one by one. "Everyone, don't run around. You can go home immediately after lining up." Lin Zhengren stood at the back of the team, looking at his parents who were waving at him outside the school gate. After traveling through this month, Lin Zhengren has a basic understanding of his new life. "My father's name is Lin Kai, nicknamed Lin Yingjin. He looks calm and is a civil servant in a small town. He is popular and has a lot of say in the family. My mother, Lin Xiaoli, is an employee of the nail salon. She is a bit silly and innocent. She earns more than my father. My father's nickname was given by my mother after watching cartoons. There is not much food stored at home, but the family of three is in good health and eats well. 2 years ago, they bought a 100,000 yuan car for travel. Although this is the result of a failed time travel. But Lin Zhengren has only one thought, that is, the curse of a certain orphanage has finally been broken. This perfect family plus the bug of the caca system in the future, isn't a happy life waving to me like crazy. Chapter 3, Stupid He Qing. After leaving the school gate, Lin Xiaoli met the two little ones, bent down and asked with a smile, "School is over. How are Ranran and Qing doing in school today? Did they have fun?" Seeing that her mother didn't come, little He Qing nodded and said, happy before asking, "Auntie, where's my mother?" The mother spoke like coaxing a child, and touched little He Qing's head. "Little Qing, your mother has to work overtime tonight so she can't come. Auntie will pick you up and have dinner at my house tonight, okay?" She stretched out a finger. "Auntie bought prawns today. They are delicious." Your mother has agreed too. The sadness of her mother not coming was overshadowed by the prawns. He Qing, who was born with a gluttony, pursed her lips and looked at Lin Zhengren in a dilemma, afraid that he would not agree. Lin Yingjin opened the car door and said, "Ranran, you and Qing should sit in the back. Everyone, get in the car quickly. It will be difficult to drive because of the traffic jam." The mother responded and asked the two to get in the car. Lin Zhengren went to the back seat first. Seeing little He Qing still standing there, he wondered, "Come up, why are you still standing?" Little He Qing hummed, and with a little joy on her face, she quickly climbed into the car and sat down next to Lin Zhengren. On the way home, the mother in the passenger seat opened a bag of snacks and handed it to Lin Zhengren and He Qing. "Ranran and Qing, I'll pack some chocolate for you." Lin Zhengren remembered the system, but he didn't hear any sound after taking it. He was a little curious why it didn't trigger now. He didn't like sweets very much, so he had to stuff the snacks into He Qing's hand. "You eat it." Little He Qing was very surprised, and her mother Lin Xiaoli was even more surprised, and smiled meaningfully. "Oh? Ranran and Qing have such a good relationship?" He actually took the initiative to give snacks to Qing. Lin Zhengren looked out the window. "I just don't like it." His mother covered her mouth while laughing, thinking that her son was born arrogant. "Really? There are children who don't like snacks." He Qing didn't think so much, just felt panic. "Don't you want to eat?" "No, you eat it." Little He Qing took the snacks and just looked at them without opening them, but swallowed her saliva. Lin Xiaoli reminded in a low voice, "Qing, if you don't want to eat it now, pack it up and eat it at home." Since Ranran said he didn't want to eat it, he will definitely not eat it. She secretly looked at Lin Zhengren and whispered, Lin Zhengren, I will show you the things when I get home. Lin Zhengren responded, and little He Qing dared to put the chocolate in her pocket when she saw that he was not angry. After returning home, He Qing ran to her door with her school bag on her back and entered the password to open the door. He Qing is from a single-parent family. Her mother often works overtime, so He Qing basically goes home by herself. Lin Ziali reminded, Qing, we will call you after the meal is done. Well, I'll just get something. He Qing put down her school bag, went to the bedroom to find the box of candies, and went to the bottom of the closet, lying on the ground to reach it. After trying hard to touch a small box, she wiped the dust on it, pursed her lips reluctantly, but thought of what happened today and decided to give it to Lin Zhengren. She went to Lin Zhengren's house with 2 boxes in her arms. Lin Ziali and Lin Yingjun were already cooking in the kitchen. He Qing seemed to have a natural fear of Lin Zhengren. She stood at the door of Lin Zhengren's bedroom, which was not closed, and watched him sitting on the bed packing things, but she didn't dare to go in. She just stood there obediently. Lin Zhengren, I've brought all my things. Lin Zhengren responded and continued to pack things. He thought she had entered the room, but after waiting for a while, he found that she was still standing at the door and staring at him. Not moving at all. Why are you standing there? Little He Qing wanted to say something but stopped herself. She was afraid that Lin Zhengren would get angry if she entered his room without permission, but she didn't dare to speak, so she lowered her head and didn't say anything. Lin Zhengren patted the bed, come and sit down, give me the things, and then closed the door. Okay, little He Qing did as she was told, sat down, gave Lin Zhengren the things, then stood up and went back to close the door, standing there in a daze. She didn't even dare to change the order in which someone was talking. Lin Zhengren was really not someone who got angry easily, but at this moment, there were veins on his forehead. He walked over and gently pulled her cheek, making He Qing whimper in grievance. Why are you standing here again? Go sit on the bed. Sorry, why do you make me feel like I'm bullying you all day long? It's obviously you who makes me angry all day long. She felt wronged. I didn't. Lin Zhengren returned to the bed and opened the box of candy. It sent. It turned out to be a whole box of tonic pills. Although the quality is not too high, the quantity is large. For you who have just started to cultivate immortality, they are all excellent treasures. If you take them all and absorb them well, it is definitely not a problem to advance several levels within half a year. Strange, thinking of the bag of chocolates my mother gave me just now, is it that only the things on He Qing can be considered treasures by the system? Where did you get these candies? He Qing replied, they are all given to me by my mother. Every time I can't finish them, I leave a few in it to prevent them from being eaten one day. Lin Zhengren opened another flatter box. It should be the big chocolate that He Qing mentioned in the afternoon. After opening it, it was indeed found that it was a whole piece of dark chocolate with complete dried fruits on it, but perhaps because it has been too long, it looks a little spoiled. Black blood paste, excellent quality, but due to environmental corrosion, it has lost its efficacy and is no longer useful. Lin Zhengren wanted to say that this thing has expired, but he saw He Qing looking reluctant, holding her 2 little hands together, very nervous. Are you reluctant to give it to me? He asked curiously. Little He Qing looked up when she heard it. No, it's not that I don't want to give it away, it's just, she said in a low voice, this is the only thing my father gave me. If you want it, can you leave me a small piece so that I can have some left? Lin Zhengren was curious. What if I don't give it to you? I won't leave you any, just a little bit is fine. I don't want more. Not giving you any? It means that I deliberately don't give it to you. If you can't finish it, I will throw it away instead of giving it to you. Little He Qing looked at Lin Zhengren, and suddenly her eyes were moist and tears came out. Then where are you going to throw it if you can't finish it? I'll pick it up. Lin Zhengren was embarrassed and returned the chocolate to little He Qing. Don't cry. I don't like this thing. You can keep it yourself, but as a reward for saving you, he shook the candy in his hand. This box of candy is not enough. Every time your mother gives you candy, you have to share some with me, and you have to listen to me in the future, understand? When little He Qing heard that he didn't want it, she suddenly became happy again and stopped crying. She packed the chocolate and held it in her arms cherishedly. Okay. I'll give you half of the candy from now on. I'll listen to you. Lin Zhengren nodded. Then it's a deal. You chose to temporarily accompany the fairy, and the inexperienced fairy actually agreed to listen to you. Maybe it's because you are soft-hearted. You plan to tell the pure fairy about the dangers of the world during your companionship. After all, you know that you won't be with her for too long, so this can be regarded as providing a little help for her in the future on her path to becoming an immortal. Chapter January 4th Changes. This system knows what I am thinking. After all, I am not a big villain. I have to give something back to her after taking her things. The mother in the kitchen shouted, "Ranran, Qing, it's time to eat." The prawns are all steamed. Lin's Hangren and Xiao Heking responded and left the bedroom. The two little ones sat on the side of the dining table. Lin Xiaoli put a plate of prawns in front of them. "You two can peel and eat them by yourselves." Qing, you don't have to be polite in front of your aunt. Xiao Heking waited for Lin's Hangren to reach out for it first before she dared to take it. The timid action could not hide the nature of her little greedy bug. She broke the prawn from the head and bit the prawn head with her little mouth. The sweet taste made Xiao Heking's face obviously happy. Put the prawn body in front of Lin's Hangren. Lin's Hangren ate the shrimp meat curiously. "Why give it to me? Are you picky? Don't you like to eat the body?" Xiao Heking was speechless. Not picky. Lin's Hangren knew that she wanted to give him the delicious shrimp meat. Xiao Heking was a good person. She had the intention of repaying a drop of water with a spring in her bones. But her way of repaying is often silent, and the children can't understand it at all. Only Lin's Hangren, who is reborn, can guess what the other person is thinking. "If you are not picky about food, take your shrimp back," little He Qing wanted to say. "The shrimp body is delicious, so I give it to you." As a result, Lin's Hangren's eyes scared her so much that she had to take the shrimp body away and lower her head, shrinking her neck to eat the shrimp meat. In the evening, Auntie came back from overtime and took little He Qing away. Auntie is a very strict person. She has a stern face all day long, which always gives people a feeling that life is very stressful. The strictness of the mother plus the absence of the father. Maybe this is the fundamental reason why He Qing is as timid as a mouse. Tonight, when Auntie took her daughter's hand home, she asked her daughter a question. "Qing, why do I feel that you are very afraid of your brother Ranran? Don't you like to playing with him?" Little He Qing held her mother's hand without hesitation. "I like it." Auntie didn't understand. "Then why do you always call him Lin's Hangren? Don't you call him Brother Ranran?" Little He Qing actually called Lin's Hangren Brother Ranran at the beginning, but Lin's Hangren didn't want to, so she had to continue to call him by his full name. Auntie saw that her daughter was silent again, so she didn't ask any more questions. "How about we go back to our hometown to visit Grandma this winter? We haven't been back for a long time." "Well, okay." That night, Lin's Hangren ate a box of candies that He Qing gave him in his bedroom. Every time he ate one, he felt an increase in strength, energy, or physical strength. It was really like a magic pill, so he finished a box of candies in one night. The child has good teeth, so it won't hurt to eat a box of candies. After about a month, Lin's Hangren began to ask He Qing for snacks every day, and used his free time to read kindergarten books. In exchange, Lin's Hangren would also give the snacks that his parents gave him to He Qing. After all, he was not interested in snacks but in the rewards of the system. In addition, Lin's Hangren did one thing, which was to teach He Qing to play tricks. For example, during class, when Lin's Hangren saw someone talking about He Qing, he asked He Qing to throw a ball of paper at the other person. He Qing didn't want to do it. Lin's Hangren said with a serious face, "Didn't you hear them saying bad things about you blatantly? Hurry up and throw the paper balls at them." If He Qing was timid and didn't move, Lin's Hangren would pull her face. "Hurry up, didn't you say you would listen to me? Do you want to regret it?" He Qing, who was ruled by a tyrant, had no choice but to obey, but when those people saw that it was He Qing who threw the paper, they looked at Lin's Hangren and didn't say anything. In addition, Lin's Hangren did a lot of things. For example, when He Qing didn't eat enough at noon, she used to go home hungry to eat at night, but during this period, Lin's Hangren would take the initiative to let her raise her hand and shout, "Teacher, I'm not full," to ask for more food. He Qing didn't shout loudly, so Lin's Hangren continued to poke her thigh with his finger. "Keep shouting, it's like a mosquito humming, who can hear it?" There was also no partner for activities, and she didn't dare to call the teacher when she went to the bathroom, etc. This month, He Qing didn't know what Lin's Hangren was doing. The number of times she was bullied increased significantly, but she didn't dare to do anything at the beginning. Later, she knew that resistance was useless, so she did whatever Lin's Hangren said. Gradually, she was not so shy to shout and yell, because it happened so many times. One day a month later, Lin Xiaoli took Lin Hengren out to the mall. Her mother loved new clothes and new shoes very much, and she always spent a long time in the store. Lin Hengren really couldn't stay, but when he stood at the door and looked out, he unexpectedly found a familiar figure with a ponytail standing at the door of the children's taekwondo hall, watching the taekwondo promotional video for a long time. Today, when you went out, you accidentally found that He Xiangzi was studying a certain martial arts technique. You were very curious and hesitated whether to go over. Lin Hengren walked over and patted her shoulder. He Qing. She scared the other party, and was relieved when she saw that it was Lin Hengren. Her little hands were clasped in front of her, as if she had made a mistake. Lin Hengren asked speechlessly, "Why do you always keep your head down when I see you? Can't you raise your head and talk to me next time?" Little He Qing raised her head when she heard it, but her eyes were still timid. Lin Hengren said helplessly, "Why are you here? Did your mother bring you here?" Little He Qing turned around and pointed to the coffee shop in the distance. Lin Hengren looked into the distance and found that Auntie was drinking coffee and chatting with a man, but her face was very unhappy, as if she was ready to scold the other person at any time. Lin Hengren realized who it was. "Is that your father?" Little He Qing nodded. "Well, Mom is arguing with Dad again. I didn't want to listen to them arguing, so I came out." Her voice became very small. "Obviously, Mom and Dad only meet once in a long time, and I don't know why they always quarrel. I hate this." It was obviously a depressing atmosphere. Lin Hengren was stunned but suddenly laughed. "You can actually say what you think now. Do you know you hate it? It seems that I haven't bullied you in vain for the past month." Little He Qing blushed, quickly covered her mouth and shook her head, meaning that she didn't mean to let it slip. Lin Hengren took her hand off and said with a straight face, "Why are you shaking your head? It's a good thing to speak your mind, not a bad thing. Do you think it's a good thing to keep your head down and keep silent all day? Do you think others like you like that?" Little He Qing pursed her lips, put her hands together, and struggled for a while. "But if I talk too much, I'm afraid I'll be annoying." Lin Hengren sighed. In fact, he could imagine that people like Auntie would go home with a sullen face after work. Little He Qing must be scared and dare not disturb her mother. "That's better than you being silent all day. In the future, when you are with me, just say whatever is in your heart. Do you understand?" Little He Qing nodded repeatedly. Lin Hengren turned his head and looked at the taekwondo promotional video next to him. "You are actually interested in this thing, junior taekwondo? It's unexpected. Are you going to learn this?" Little He Qing blushed and shook her head. "I don't want to learn it. I just think it's cool, I think." After waiting for a long time, she stopped talking again. Lin Hengren was so angry that he gave her a chestnut on the head. He Qing was in pain and covered her head with her arms, tears in her eyes. Lin Hengren asked with a cold face, "What do you want to say?" "Didn't I say you can say whatever you want?" Little He Qing mustered up her courage and said in a trembling voice, "I just want to protect you. If someone bullies you in the future, I can protect you." Chapter 5, Change Destiny. Lin Hengren was stunned and then laughed. "You protect me? You are wrong, right?" Little He Qing nodded, then shook her head again when she felt something was wrong, and spoke like a little chicken. "Because you always make teachers and classmates angry in kindergarten, and no boys want to play with you. I want to teach them a lesson and vent your anger if someone bullies you in the future." Lin Hengren was really amused, and Little He Qing blushed and lowered her head without saying a word. "But you are still bullied by them every day. You can't even protect yourself, and you help me teach them a lesson?" Lin Hengren asked with a smile. Little He Qing bit her lip, and her voice was lower than the previous sentence. "No, you always teach me to do bad things recently. The teacher said that I was led astray by you. No one bullies me, and only you bully me." Lin Hengren stopped smiling. "That's right. Think about it. It seems that no one has bothered you except me recently, but since you know that I bully you, why do you still protect me?" She lowered her head, actually didn't know why, but she just had this idea. Lin Hengren stretched out his hand, and Little He Qing thought he was going to pull her face again, so she quickly closed her eyes and shrank her neck. Unexpectedly, the other party just patted her shoulder. She smiled and said, "Although I don't expect you to protect me, thank you anyway." He turned his head to look at the taekwondo advertisement. "As for this taekwondo, if you really want to learn it, just let Auntie sign you up. Maybe you will really be very good in the future." Little He Qing looked at Lin Hengren in surprise. "Really? Of course, this kind of thing is hard to say," Lin Hengren said casually. Children's hearts can't distinguish many emotions, but even so He Qing began to realize why she was the only one bullied by him and didn't feel disgusted, because Lin Zhengren never refuted her ideas. Even every time she was timid and didn't dare to do something, Lin Zhengren would urge her to do it and give her confidence. Lin Zhiali's shouting came from a distance, and her mother called Lin Zhengren back. Lin Zhengren responded and said goodbye to He Qing. I have to go find my mother. See you at school tomorrow. Remember to bring me some snacks. Your words have subtly influenced He Xianzi's heart and changed her future destiny to some extent. Adventure reward, charm +1. Is this a hidden event? Looking at Lin Zhengren's back as he left, little He Qing waved her hands, a little blush appeared on her face, and after a moment she turned around and returned to the cafe where her parents were. At night, Auntie brought little He Qing back home angrily. Little He Qing watched her mother crying on the sofa. Every time she met her father, her mother would do this. This was the first time she took the initiative to get involved in their affairs today. She went to get a glass of water and handed it to her mother. Mom, divorce Dad, don't be unhappy. Auntie was shocked to hear this and was motionless. She looked at her daughter who never liked to speak and her tears fell even harder. She burst into laughter and asked tremblingly, who taught you these? How can you say these words? Little He Qing just doesn't like to talk. She is not stupid. There are some things she has wanted to say for a long time, and Lin Zhengren's bad teaching this month has given her enough courage to speak. Auntie hugged her daughter and touched her head. Well, Mom will listen to you and be happy in the future. Another month passed. Today is Wednesday morning. Lin Yingjin drove Lin Zhengren to school. Lin Zhengren was flipping through kindergarten books in the car. When the system voice appeared, he burst into tears. Finally, after these 2 months of deceiving little He Qing and practicing hard, she finally reached level 10. After 2 months of practice, you finally broke through to level 10. This will be the first milestone on your road to practice. You will unlock the first exclusive talent, but as a proof of being a strong person, the low-level elixir provided by the fairy can no longer effectively improve you. Lin Zhengren was not surprised by the system's prompt. He had eaten too many snacks in the past 2 months, and many candies were no longer so delicious after eating too much. Converted into elixir, it should be considered that the drug resistance has increased. Your current attributes are strength, 3, energy, 2, stamina, 4, charm. 2. The first exclusive skill has been unlocked, Luck Link. Your bond with Fairy He has brought some changes to your path of cultivation. In the past 2 months, you unexpectedly discovered that every time Fairy He improved, you could also improve. In the world of cultivation, this is called the luck vein. This is the key to establishing a sect, so you delved deeply into this method and finally achieved some success. How to use? Just sign a contract with a fairy who is willing to follow you. When the other party's cultivation level improves, you can double it. Just be aware that the other party must sincerely agree to the contract, otherwise it will not succeed. Sign a contract? Why does this setting look so familiar? But this ability is strong. I like recharge rebates. It just so happens that today's He Xiangzi appears in front of you again. As a partner who has been walking together for 2 months, do you want to conclude a contract with each other or choose someone else? Ranran, we're at school. Dad has gone to work. Lin Yingjin parked the car at the school gate. Lin Zhengren hummed and opened the car door and jumped out of the car. Dad, be careful on the road. Looking into the distance, he really found that He Qing was talking to her mother at the school gate not far away. Aunt He's complexion seemed to have become much better than before. She touched her daughter's head and said something to little He Qing. It was roughly some advice to listen to the teacher at school. Little He Qing carried a small school bag with a smile on her face, waved her hand and said goodbye to her mother. Goodbye, Mom. Be careful on the way to work. Lin Zhengren walked over, and little He Qing stood up straight when she saw the person coming, with a sweet voice. Good morning, Lin Zhengren. Lin Zhengren looked at Auntie curiously as she took a taxi and left. Your mother seems to be in a good mood today. Little He Qing nodded slightly and looked over. After Mom and Dad divorced, they are both much happier. She took out a bag of candy from her pocket and handed it to Lin Zhengren. Oh, here. This is today's candy. I asked Mom to buy it for me. They're all your favorite flavors. 2 months later, little He Qing has been helped by Lin Zhengren to change some of her bad habits. She talks more and is not as secretive as before. Although she is still not very frank sometimes, it is better than before. Lin Zhengren waved his hand. From today on, You don't have to give me candy. I don't want it. Little He Qing, who was originally in a good mood, suddenly panicked and stayed there, about to cry. Why? Did you rob me? Why don't you want it? What do you mean by rob? When have I ever robbed your things? Lin's Hengren was speechless. No. I mean, why do you suddenly not want it? She asked in a panic, thinking she had made a mistake. Lin's Hengren casually explained, I just don't want to eat it anymore. You can keep it for yourself. Eating this thing won't improve anything, so there's no need to eat it anymore. Lin's Hengren looked at him with contempt. Why are you crying? Chapter 6 Taekwondo Cake Hands. Seeing that little He Qing's eyes suddenly turned red and she began to cry for no apparent reason, Lin's Hengren could not help but pull her soft face. Why are you crying? Are you not happy that I don't eat your food? Won't you be able to eat more snacks every day this way? Little He Qing's face hurt from being pulled. She looked at Lin's Hengren eagerly, muttering, but you took my things every day before, why don't you want them today? Lin's Hengren stopped, not knowing what to say. Are you sick? Are you addicted to being bullied by me? Little He Qing covered her face, still looking at him pitifully with a candy in her hand. Lin's Hengren was too lazy to discuss the issue of candy. Didn't you say before that you would ask your mother to sign you up for a taekwondo class? Have you signed up? She shook her head. I haven't said it yet. Don't want to sign up. I want to sign up. Seeing that Lin's Hengren was about to say that she wouldn't say anything again, she quickly waved her hands and explained, it's not that I don't want to say it, it's that my mother just divorced my father recently, and they are busy with a divorce. I planned to tell you tonight. Lin's Hengren nodded with relief. That's good, but don't look at you being indecisive on small things. You are quite open-minded on big things. The kindergarten teacher was already calling people in the school, and Lin's Hengren and Little He Qing walked in. Little He Qing said, the main thing is that mom and dad don't sleep together for a long time. Since they are not happy together, it's better for them to separate early. Lin's Hengren looked at her with admiration. You are much more comfortable talking now than before, giving people a sense of intelligence. Little He Qing lowered her head shyly, thinking that this sounded weird. The teacher nodded at people in the distance and shouted, is He Qing here? Before Lin's Hengren could habitually shout, Little He Qing raised her hand first. Teacher, I'm here. The teacher responded, if you're here, then stand in line and don't run around. Lin's Hengren stared at He Qing's shy look as she raised her hand, and his good intentions for the past 2 months were not in vain. In the morning self-study class, Lin's Hengren sat there staring at He Qing. Little He Qing held the edge of the stool with her little hands and blinked cutely. I don't know what he was going to do. Lin's Hengren said, He Qing, do you want to follow me all the time? The system didn't teach how to sign a contract specifically, but it should be enough to ask sincerely and the other party should answer sincerely. But Little He Qing didn't understand. What does it mean to follow you all the time? After that, she suddenly heard someone in the class reading an extracurricular book. There was a cartoon picture of a bride and groom holding a wedding in the book, and it said 2 people should be together forever. Little He Qing's smart head reacted immediately, and her face turned red. Following all the time means that you will get married when you grow up, become a bride and groom, and sleep together. Lin's Hengren didn't know how to explain. There is no other meaning. You can understand it however you want. You can understand it as we are good friends. She looked at Lin's Hengren again, nodded slowly before he finished speaking, and whispered, okay, I do. Lin's Hengren thought she was quite straightforward, and stretched out his hand. Then let's make a pinky promise. No one is allowed to regret it. Little He Qing stretched out her little finger and clasped it with Lin's Hengren's little finger, imitating his words. No one is allowed to regret it. You have successfully concluded a destiny with He Xiangzi and poached the sect's talents. In the future, when He Xiangzi improves her cultivation, you will be able to get double her cultivation. It's just that He Xiangzi seemed to have other ideas about you when she signed the contract with you. It's quite simple to conclude a contract, but other ideas? Lin's Hengren asked directly, what do you think of me now? He Qing didn't understand, and answered with a silly face, what do you think? I don't have any ideas. I just want to follow you in the future. Lin's Hengren took back his hand and put the kindergarten book in front of her. As a time traveler, he didn't think much about this 5-year-old girl, so naturally he didn't think about that aspect. Forget it, you can think whatever you want. Read the book. Home today passed. Lin's Hengren stared at He Qing, who was flipping through the book carefully, and then looked at the system's cultivation progress bar. I thought that the progress bar didn't change. Could it be that reading books doesn't count as cultivation for He Qing? After school in the evening, little He Qing went to find her mother and said to her mother, "Mom, I want to sign up for a study class." Aunt He, who picked up her daughter from school, was really surprised. In the past, when she was struggling with whether to divorce or not, her daughter had always been sullen and silent. Now that she is divorced, her daughter seems to have become more talkative, which once made Aunt He feel that after the divorce, God intended to let the whole family run towards a new life. She squatted down and looked at her daughter at eye level, thinking, "What kind of study class are you going to sign up for?" "The kind that teaches elementary school knowledge in advance." Little He Qing shook her head and took out a flyer from her arms. This was something Lin Zhengren had accompanied her to ask for from the taekwondo gym some time ago. "No, it's this." Aunt He took the list from her and was even more shocked when she saw the title. She looked at her daughter, who couldn't be more honest, and then looked at the cheerful children on the list. "Taekwondo. You should know what taekwondo is at your age, right? It's just a group of people fighting each other. You want to learn this? Can you bear it? It's easy to get hurt." Little He Qing nodded and muttered, "I can bear it. I'm not afraid of getting hurt." Aunt He laughed and touched her daughter's head after thinking carefully. "It is said that children will grow up suddenly. Our Qing really became a big child suddenly. Mom doesn't know when you became so strong." She stood up and held her daughter's hand. "Then Mom will accompany you to have a look now. If you really want to learn, Mom will pay the money and register for you today." "Thank you, Mom." Little He Qing grinned. Not long after, when Aunt He took her daughter to the children's taekwondo hall opened in the next-door shopping mall, she, an adult, watched the children fighting each other. "I can't help but worry about my daughter." But He Qing looked at the strong and brave people of her age, and her heart was full of longing. Finally, under the premise that the taekwondo coach said that safety would be guaranteed, little He Qing really signed up for taekwondo and became a taekwondo cake player. And Lin Zhengren also found that the progress bar of cultivation began to rise from the day she practiced taekwondo. After leaving the sect, He Xianzi wandered for several months and finally found her own way of cultivation. He Xianzi's level is now a primary martial artist. If you are bound to the other party's luck, you will automatically be promoted to a low-level martial artist, with 2 more strength and 1 more aura level. The total level becomes 11, so He Qing's path of cultivation is taekwondo? I feel like I can already see what this girl will look like in the future. Time is fast approaching the end of the year, and this year's snow actually fell early. The kindergarten also had a winter vacation. At the door of the taekwondo hall, Lin Zhengren stood in the audience and watched little He Qing wearing a small taekwondo uniform and fighting with people. The cute face and strong legs and feet make people feel very strange. It can only be said that her talent is indeed unexpected. This little girl, who was always bullied before, unexpectedly showed her ambition in the taekwondo gym in more than a month, from being beaten at the beginning to now being able to beat many boys. She even became a recognized master in taekwondo. Of course, at least half of the credit for all this goes to Lin Zhengren, because Lin Zhengren secretly taught her in his free time. Chapter 7, Advancement to 2nd Grade. As for why Lin Zhengren knows taekwondo, it can only be said that the level 10 talent given by the system is too powerful. Whenever He Qing's level improves, Lin Zhengren's taekwondo level will also be improved to double strength, and even some theoretical knowledge about this aspect will naturally emerge in his mind. So every time He Qing's level is not up to par, Lin Zhengren can use theory and practice to help her improve. For example, today is Saturday. Lin Zhengren and He Qing are standing on the bed to practice wrestling. He Qing put on a fighting posture and said "ha," and tried to wrestle Lin Zhengren, but was thrown on the bed by Lin Zhengren. He Qing lay flat on the bed with her legs bent, stunned, looking at Lin Zhengren standing on her head with clear eyes. "Lin Zhengren, you are so amazing. How did you do this?" Lin Zhengren sat on the bed and explained the key points of the movements to her, and He Qing listened carefully. Only halfway through, Lin Zhengren found that He Qing was sitting on the bed like a duck, holding the quilt with her little hands, and suddenly smiled. His face was stern. "What are you laughing at? Wasn't what I said wrong?" Little He Qing quickly shook her head and dared not laugh. Her ponytail swayed a few times. "Nothing is wrong." "But Lin Zhengren, how come you know everything? You obviously didn't sign up, but you are better than me." Lin Zhengren crossed his arms across his chest, looking arrogant like an adult. "How come I am better than you? Isn't it normal?" Little He Qing pecking at rice. "Normal?" The two little guys looked at each other, and Lin Zhengren felt that the other person's eyes looking at him became more and more strange, with an indescribable concentration. What kind of eyes are there? Little He Qing was stunned for a moment, lowered her head shyly, and grabbed the bedding harder. No, I'm very grateful to you because you have been teaching me to train. Lin Zhengren, do you want to sign up for taekwondo as well? This way we can practice together every day in the future. Lin Zhengren closed his eyes, straightened his chest and raised his head and decisively refused. I won't sign up for this thing. I'm not interested in taekwondo. I help you just to make you stronger and not be beaten by others. Little He Qing couldn't help but blush. You are so nice to me. Lin Zhengren opened his eyes. What did you say? She quickly closed her mouth and shook her head. Nothing. If it's nothing, just practice what I taught you these few days. Aren't you still planning to get the top 3 in this year's gym competition? Yeah, no one can tell what Little He Qing thinks of Lin Zhengren at this moment, or maybe Little He Qing herself doesn't have any ideas. In her little head, she just wants to be with him every day and be bullied by him. But even if her brain is empty, she knows that she is not the only one who is willing to play with Lin Zhengren, but there are many girls who also like to be with Lin Zhengren. She discovered this a long time ago. Lin Zhengren is very good looking and strong in everything. No one would dislike him. It's just that in the past 2 years in kindergarten, because Lin Zhengren was too cold and there were few classmates in kindergarten, no one dared to get close to him. But after entering elementary school, there were more classmates, and everything changed slightly. This year, Lin Zhengren and Little He Qing are both 7 years old, and they have successfully bid farewell to kindergarten and become elementary school students. In the first grade, Lin Zhengren and He Qing were miraculously still deskmates. But when the second grade started, the teacher reassigned classes. He Qing was no longer in the same class with Lin Zhengren. Of course, this did not affect the two of them playing together on weekends. After all, the relationship of neighbors would not change, and they could see each other anytime they wanted. Today is Friday. The town didn't know where they learned the festival from, saying that they were going to hold a beer festival. It's called a beer festival, but it's actually a market under the name of the festival, because there are fewer beer sellers on the street than liquor sellers. Maybe the mayor cares about this festival very much, and there are actually many police uncles patrolling around. Lin Zhengren also wandered around the beer festival with his parents today. After walking for an hour, Lin Zhengren's steps were relaxed and he didn't feel tired at all. It has been 2 years since the system was activated. With teaching He Qing taekwondo every week, plus her own practice, He Qing has now become the strongest girl in their taekwondo gym under Lin Zhengren's training. And Lin Zhengren has naturally improved a lot of levels. Your current spiritual energy level is 18, which is a small achievement. Current attributes are strength, 5, energy, 6, stamina, 10, charm, 4. You are strolling around the market today. The sunny weather makes you feel relaxed. Maybe you can find some ancient map fragments in the market today. After all fantasy novels have such plots. But just as you are checking the street to see if you can find any bargains, you hear the sound of a monster in the distance. This makes you alert. The monster has come to the human world. If it is not stopped, the market will be a sea of blood. Do you plan to go and investigate or flee quickly, monster? Lin Zhengren looked at the bustling market. Although it was crowded, the public security was very good. He didn't understand what this so-called monster was. It couldn't be a tiger in the zoo that ran out, right? And the system didn't say where this monster was. Ranran's dad, do you think this hat is cute? How about buying one for Ranran and me? Lin Yingjin saw his wife squatting in front of a stall, holding a cute cartoon hat in her hand and laughing. Buy it if you like it. We came out to shop today, let me see if there are any other good-looking ones. Lin Zhengren bent down to check other styles, and asked Lin Zhengren if he liked any of them. Ranran, which hat do you think looks better? How about this one with a kitten? Lin Zhengren felt that the hat was effeminate and ugly. Mom, I want to go back to the car and sit for a while. I'm a little tired. You're tired so soon? We've only been shopping for a short time. Lin Zhengren pretended to be young and said, but I'm a child. I can't walk much. Lin Zhengren looked at him with contempt, and her expression was exactly the same as Lin Zhengren's contempt. She said to her mother, nonsense, you practice taekwondo with He Qing in the bedroom all day long. Do you think mom and dad don't know? Do you have poor physical strength? Lin Yingjin looked at his son's embarrassed face and knew why his son was tired. After all, his wife was too slow when shopping. Every time she came across a stall she liked, she would stay there for a long time and didn't leave, which resulted in not walking much distance in an hour. The so-called tiredness has nothing to do with physical strength. It's simply because she can't walk anymore. It's okay, if Ranran is tired, let him go back to the car and rest for a while. Anyway, I think this beer festival is very well organized. There are a group of patrolmen walking around in the parking lot. It will be safe for him to stay in the car by himself. Lin Xiaoli curled her lips. Okay, then Dad will take Ranran back to the car. After we finish walking around here, we will go to the car to find Ranran. Lin Hengren responded and was finally taken back to the car by his father. After his father left, just when Lin Hengren was curious about where the monsters would be. On the road, a little girl with twin ponytails and a yellow skirt was holding a puppy in her arms and a thin branch in her other hand. She was waving her arms at a golden retriever in the distance with her eyes closed. Don't come over, don't come over. If you come over again, I will call the police, uncle. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Disciplinary Committee. The half-meter-tall golden retriever tentatively moved its paws forward. The girl with the twin ponytails was so scared that she screamed and waved her paws even more vigorously. Don't come over. I warned you not to come over. The golden retriever immediately took 2 steps back in grievance, whimpered twice like sobbing, and did not move. You have successfully discovered a trace of the monster. This monster has golden hair and a huge body, which shows that it has a high level of cultivation. It seems to be fighting with a female hero. Do you want to help or protect yourself? It turns out that the so-called monster refers to this big golden retriever. The dog didn't even show its teeth. Doesn't it look very obedient? Lin Hengren got out of the car and walked over. The closer he got, the more he found that the girl looked familiar. The voice seemed to have been heard somewhere before. He came behind the girl and called her, scaring her so much that she screamed in panic. She huddled up on the ground with the little golden retriever in her arms and shouted, "Help, help. Police uncle, help me." Lin Hengren didn't understand, but he recognized her, Zhang Zuli. Zhang Zuli heard the voice and realized that the big dog didn't bite her, so she slowly opened her tearful eyes. She looked up at the person in front of her, classmate Lin Hengren. The two were in the same class. Zhang Zuli was the discipline committee member of the class, responsible for discipline and rectifying the unhealthy trends in the class. Lin Hengren always slept in class and read extracurricular books, and the books he read were not understandable to most people, so Zhang Zuli had a deep impression of him. Lin Hengren was curious. What are you doing? You keep shouting. Zhang Zuli reacted as if she had grabbed a life-saving straw. She quickly stood up and headed beside Lin Hengren, pointing at the big dog in the distance. Classmate Lin Hengren. Come with me to protect this puppy. The big yellow dog just wanted to bite the little yellow dog to death. Look, there's blood on the puppy's body. If I hadn't rescued the puppy, it would have died. Blood? Lin Hengren looked at the puppy in his arms, and indeed found some red on the puppy's mouth and eyes, but the red color was very strange, not like blood, and there were no wounds on the face, and the color was mixed with some strange seeds. He tentatively dipped a little on his finger, speechless. Why do I feel like this looks like a dragon fruit? Zhang Zuli looked confused. Dragon fruit? What dragon fruit? Lin Hengren looked at the big golden retriever in the distance who looked aggrieved and wronged. In short, there is only one truth. If I'm not mistaken, this big golden retriever should be the mother of this little golden retriever. Otherwise, put the little golden retriever on the ground and see if it will run over. Zhang Zuli was stunned, but soon she refuted with all her might. How? How is it possible? I just saw this big dog biting the little dog's head with my own eyes. Lin Hengren was too lazy to say anything more. He took the little dog out of her arms and put it on the ground. The little golden retriever just wagged its tail and ran to kiss its mother. The big golden retriever licked the dragon fruit flesh on the child's face, barked at Lin Hengren gratefully, and turned away. You rescue the Warcraft mother and daughter, and receive the blessing of the Warcraft. Charm +1. Zhang Zuli stood there as if petrified, like a wooden man. Lin Hengren asked, what do you say now? This. Lin Hengren repeated her words. This. Zhang Zuli blushed and closed her eyes. Even if this is the case, I am kind-hearted. She clenched her fists and straightened her arms with a proud look. What kind of look is that? It's like looking at a fool. Lin Zhengren thought she was quite self-aware. Why are you so excited? I didn't say anything. Zhang Zuli, who has a strong personality, blushed and was embarrassed by this sentence. After a while, the police uncle came over and asked who was shouting for help just now. Lin Zhengren pointed to Zhang Zuli without hesitation. Zhang Zuli was immediately ashamed. She was so panicked that she quickly waved her hands and shook her head, and her twin ponytail swung back and forth. No, police uncle, I didn't shout. Nothing happened just now. The police smiled helplessly and left. Adults would not argue with children playing. Lin Zhengren also wanted to go back. At this time, Zhang Zuli clenched her fists, struggling, but she finally closed her eyes and shouted, "Thank you for saving me just now. I am a person who is very clear about gratitude and resentment." Lin Zhengren turned around. She bit her lips in shame. After waiting for a while, someone deliberately asked, "What did you say just now?" "I didn't hear clearly." Zhang Zuli didn't expect to say it again. Her face turned redder and she stammered, "I said." Lin Zhengren had a blank expression. "I didn't expect that there was such a character as Tsundeer in reality. Actually, I heard it." "You're welcome." Zhang Zuli watched Lin Zhengren leave, blinked a few times, muttered to herself there is something wrong and muttered I feel so embarrassed and ran away from the scene with her face covered. Time passed another week unknowingly. This day, Lin Zhengren went to school with Xiao He Qing. When walking on the road, Lin Zhengren suddenly found that the discipline committee member Zhang Zuli was walking towards him. But after seeing him, the other party was startled and ran away quickly. This kind of thing actually happened several times in a week. Little He Qing didn't see the girl just now, but only saw the puzzled Lin Zhengren, and asked in a small voice, "Lin Zhengren, what are you looking at?" Lin Zhengren said, "Nothing." Little He Qing was full of confusion, not knowing why. Lin Zhengren didn't know why either, until he finally knew the reason during a self-study class. The teacher was not on the class, and the students in the class were talking or sleeping. Lin Zhengren belonged to the latter. Zhang Zuli, the discipline committee member, couldn't stand it anymore and stood up. "Don't make noise. This is a self-study class. If you make noise again, I will write your names on the blackboard." Everyone was quiet for a short while, but soon continued to bustle, and Zhang Zuli clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. The position of discipline committee member is a very special position in the school, because the class monitor is also responsible for discipline, which overlaps with the duties of the discipline committee member, so Zhang Zuli seems useless and unpopular, and always feels that she is used to attract everyone's hatred. She walked to the podium and wrote the names of the undisciplined students on the blackboard in order. But when it came to Lin Zhengren, Zhang Zuli was stunned for a moment and skipped Lin Zhengren. But she was just discovered by a sharp-eyed person. "Zhang Zuli, why don't you write Lin Zhengren? He's asleep too." Zhang Zuli turned back in panic and stammered, "What didn't you write?" "I was just about to write." "Why are you in a hurry?" "Nonsense. You wrote everything in order before, but you didn't write Lin Zhengren." Lin Zhengren heard and looked over curiously. Zhang Zuli looked at Lin Zhengren, and she blushed and turned to the blackboard again. "I'll write it now." But she only wrote the word Lin and stopped writing. Instead, she wiped out the names she had written before. She shouted to the class, "Don't quarrel. I'll give you one last chance. If you quarrel again, I will really write all your names on the blackboard." After that, she walked down the podium and returned to her seat, and looked at Lin Zhengren awkwardly again. A boy in the class saw this scene and shouted as if he understood, "Disciplinary committee member, do you like Lin Zhengren?" Chapter 9 Rumors. Huh? Zhang Zuli had never expected someone to say that, but as long as someone started, the classmates in the class would follow suit. They didn't care or need to understand the meaning of the word like, they just knew that this was fun and strange. Wow. It turns out that the discipline committee member likes Lin Zhengren. No wonder she didn't write Lin Zhengren's name just now. So that's the case. Be together, be together, be together, marry him. Marry him. Marry him. Zhang Zuli was so red in the face that she didn't know where to put her hands and feet. She just closed her eyes and shouted, "Don't talk nonsense. Who said I like Lin Zhengren? I never said I like Lin Zhengren. If you do this again, I will tell the teacher." "Marry him. Marry him." The class still shouted together, burying Zhang Zuli's defense in the classroom. Zhang Zuli glanced at Lin Zhengren, and had to sit back in her seat, lying on her desk and closing her eyes and covering her ears, so that she could see nothing. Lin Zhengren didn't care, because he knew that when you plan to defend yourself to a fool, you will also be a fool. What do these 7-year-old kids know? Keep explaining will only make them do what they want. He just symbolically made a little noise, rolled up a big paper ball and threw it at the first person who made a fuss, and said expressionlessly, "Are you sick?" The people in the class quickly shut up, because everyone knew that Zhang Zuli couldn't do anything to them, but if you messed with Lin Zhengren, this guy would really drag you out to fight. And because he had good grades, the teachers would be biased towards him. Soon the teacher came to the classroom, and under the teacher's scolding, this matter was officially terminated in class 2. What were you arguing about just now? The director's office is right next to it. Don't you all want to sit in class? But after class, Zhang Zuli actually took the initiative to find Lin Zhengren. On the way home from school, she secretly pulled Lin Zhengren to a corner when no one was around. Lin Zhengren looked confused. "Classmate Lin Zhengren," Zhang Zuli said in a very troubled manner, "don't take class matters seriously. I don't like you. I'm just afraid that you will tell other people about the big yellow dog that day, so I didn't write your name." "Don't get me wrong," she stared at Lin Zhengren and explained, "but I didn't write down your name when you were sleeping today, which is considered to be a favor to you. We are finally even. You can't tell others about what happened that day, okay?" Lin Zhengren knew that there must be a reason for this, but it was too outrageous to be given a nice guy card for no reason. "Oh, so that's the case. Is this why you have been avoiding me recently?" She didn't expect Lin Zhengren to see through it. She bit her lip awkwardly and said, Yes, I'm afraid that once I meet you, you will laugh at me in front of other people. After all, you boys are all the same. You only know how to bully girls." Halfway through, she looked to the side and whispered, "Although I found that you seem to be different from them." Lin Zhengren was embarrassed. "Do you have anything else to do?" The other party didn't expect Lin Zhengren to be so indifferent. She shook her head and swung her twin ponytails around her waist twice. "That's all. Just this one thing, then don't worry. I don't like spreading other people's affairs. You should write it on the blackboard when I go to sleep. Let's be even. I'm leaving now." After saying that, he left the alley without looking back. Zhang Zuli looked at him eagerly as he left. Looking at his back, she said to herself, "Isn't this guy tired of pretending to be cool every day? He always acts like an adult." Lin Zhengren looked back and glared at her from a distance. Zhang Zuli put her hands behind her head and turned to the side, pretending to look away, whistling. Nothing happened. Although many people have forgotten about it since then, there are still a small number of people who are still talking about it. Every time Zhang Zuli is in charge of discipline, the naughty male classmates always brought up the past. "Disciplinary committee member, please don't write my name on the blackboard." I have a good relationship with Lin Zhengren. Every time Zhang Zuli gritted her teeth in anger and shamefully defended herself. "What does your good relationship with him have to do with me? I've already said that I have nothing to do with him. I'm going to write your name first. Let the teacher punish you first." This outrageous rumor spread until the second year, and it didn't completely disappear in the second half of the second grade. It was approaching summer and the final exams were coming soon. The school seemed to say that because of the call from above, a sports competition would be held before the final exams this year. It was said to be a warm-up for the children's high school entrance examination. Schools in small towns are always like this, and they come up with one thing after another. As the pioneer of Class 2, Grade 2, Lin Zhengren won the championship in the sports competition. The rewards given by the system made it impossible for Lin Zhengren to be an opponent among his peers. And this battle, under the prompt of the system, seemed to be a battle at the master level, which directly promoted Lin Zhengren to a new level. Level 20, you won your first championship in today's martial arts duel, and learned many unique skills from masters. Your reputation has finally spread throughout the martial arts world. Your spiritual energy has reached 20, and you are about to unlock new exclusive skills. In this competition, you will gain 1 more strength, 3 more charm, and 2 more stamina. The system's narration also reflects the situation and reality to a certain extent. This battle did make Lin Zhengren's popularity soar in elementary school. Many girls in the class know that there is a handsome boy in class 2 who has good grades and is super good at sports. Zhang Zuli was watching Lin Zhengren win the championship from the sidelines. A boy next to her joked with her again, "Disciplinary committee member, your Lin Zhengren is so amazing, but I feel that many girls from other classes are looking at him. You are in danger." Zhang Zuli retorted angrily, "If you talk nonsense again, I will tear your mouth." I said I have nothing to do with him. It's okay, but she continued to look at Lin Sehengren, who won the championship, and pursed her lips. What does it have to do with me if others look at him? It's really annoying. She stared at Lin Sehengren's handsome face, and a strange emotion flashed across her energetic pupils. Her voice became very low. It's annoying. Class 3 next door. The well-behaved little He Qing was also sitting in the audience. She secretly cheered for Lin Sehengren instead of her classmates. Every time Lin Sehengren won the championship, she smiled happily and thought he was really amazing. He has been so amazing from the past to now. But just now she heard a rumor, and it seemed that many people were talking about it. Have you seen Lin Sehengren from class 2? I heard that the discipline committee member of their class has a special relationship with him. It seems that everyone says they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Little He Qing's originally happy expression suddenly became flustered and looked at them. Listen to them continue to talk. I know. Haha, it seems that many people know about this. The discipline committee member of their class is Jiang Zuli, right? Although she is a bit fierce at ordinary times, she is still very cute. It is said that they have been in this relationship for the first half of the year. Little He Qing clasped her hands together, and suddenly looked at Lin Sehengren on the playground very unhappy, feeling wronged. She thought, how could it be possible? Lin Sehengren had never told her about this kind of thing. It must be false. She had to ask. She must ask clearly. Chapter 10 Transfer. After school in the evening, Xiao Heqing was picked up by her mother. After returning home with her school bag, she was going to ask Lin Sehengren immediately, but she accidentally saw the comb in the bathroom. Xiao Heqing moved a small plastic stool to the bottom of the dressing table and stepped on it. She held the comb and combed the hair and ponytail on top of her head neatly in front of the mirror. After she felt basically satisfied, she went to the kitchen and said to her mother, "Mom, I have something to ask Lin Sehengren. I have to go find him." Auntie was picking vegetables in the refrigerator in the kitchen. She just responded and said, "I'll call you when the meal is ready." As a result, the cell phone rang. Auntie picked up the phone number with some suspicion, but she quickly answered, "Mom? Why did you suddenly call me so late at night? Is there something wrong?" After a moment, Auntie's face was panicked. "Are you okay? Do you want me to go back and take you to the hospital?" "Yeah, okay, I'll take her." He Qing was about to go out when Auntie, who had hung up the phone, called her, Qing. "Wait a minute." Little He Qing returned in confusion. "What's wrong, Mom?" Auntie closed the refrigerator door and untied her apron. "Don't go find your brother Ranran yet. Your grandma seems to be sick. You just pack up your things and we'll go to your grandma's house tonight. I'll ask for leave for you from school." "Grandma is sick? Is it serious?" Little He Qing was very panicked. Auntie hurried to the bedroom to pack clothes. "She just said that she was too weak to get out of bed, and just now your grandma said she missed you and wanted to see you." Little He Qing was very good at reading people's faces. She noticed that her mother's face was not good and the atmosphere was tense, so she didn't dare to ask more questions. Helplessly, she looked in the direction of Lin Sehengren's house, and had to pack up and go home with her mother to see her grandma, and then ask Lin Sehengren about the rumors after that. On the way back to her hometown, Little He Qing saw that her mother had been on the phone, asking for leave and contacting the hospital. Little He Qing sat in the co-pilot, turned around and looked out the dark window. Her innocent little eyes blinked, and her mind was full of thoughts at a young age. Fortunately, it was just a false alarm in the end. After a busy night, the next morning, Little He Qing saw her mother in the hospital with tears in her eyes, but a smile on her face. The nurse explained, "There is no particular major problem, but there are a lot of minor problems. I guess you children will have to take care of him more in the future. At least you have to go to see the old man every week to prevent any accidents." Auntie nodded. "Okay, I understand. Thank you, nurse." "Then observe him in the hospital this week. If he recovers, he can be discharged. The old man can't get out of bed. It should be because he accidentally fell a few days ago. His legs are injured and he can't use them. Don't worry too much, okay?" After the nurse left, Auntie breathed a sigh of relief and turned to look at her mother, who was lying on the bed very happy. The mother was touching her granddaughter, Little He Qing's head. She asked happily, "Qing, you haven't visited grandma for another half a year. Do you miss her?" Little He Qing stood by the bed and nodded. "Yes. I heard from your mom that you've been learning taekwondo recently? And you're pretty good at it? Can you practice for grandma when you have time?" "Yes. I'll practice for grandma when she's discharged from the hospital," Auntie asked. Mom, why didn't you call me after you fell down a few days ago? You had to call me when you couldn't get out of bed. Grandma glanced at her daughter and smiled kindly. Didn't I think it was nothing? Who hasn't fallen down? Who knew that when people get old and get injured, they have to stay in the hospital? Auntie sat by the bed and sighed. Suddenly she began to feel aggrieved again, sniffling and crying. My dad passed away early, and Qing hasn't grown up yet. Now I have no relatives except you. I was almost scared to death on the way back this time. The well-behaved little He Qing tore 2 pieces of toilet paper from the side and gave them to her mother, comforting her cutely. Mom, don't cry. Auntie smiled and touched her daughter's head. Qing, be good. Grandma kept laughing. Why are you crying? Did the doctor say that I'm not seriously ill? I'm not afraid, so why are you afraid? You're not as strong as Qing. Auntie turned around and glared at her mother. She didn't know what to say. The mother and daughter just smiled at each other, just like when they were little. Although little He Qing's grandmother was fine this time, little He Qing and her mother returned to the town quickly. But the old man's health was getting worse day by day, and he couldn't be left unattended. So without much consideration, Auntie decided to quit her job and go back to her hometown to find a part-time job that didn't require her to go out, take care of her mother, and live in her hometown in the south. And little He Qing was going to transfer to another school with her. Little He Qing was sensible. She knew that her mother took her back to take care of her grandmother, and she had no objection. But when she heard her mother call the school to go through the transfer procedures, she couldn't help but secretly shed tears. She didn't miss the school here, she missed Lin Sehengren, who lived next door and had been bullying her since kindergarten. Auntie knew that her daughter only had Lin Sehengren as a friend, so she hugged her daughter and said, Qing, Mom knows you don't want to be separated from your brother Ranran, but Grandma needs someone to take care of her, so we have to go back. Little He Qing buried her face in her mother's arms. Mom, we will come back, right? Of course. If you want to come back, you can go to junior high school. Mom will enroll you in a school here and you can go to school with your brother Ranran. It's just that you have to be separated for a while before junior high school. Little He Qing loosened her hands on her mother's clothes a little, her eyes trembling. Well, then when are we leaving? In a month, we will go back to your grandma's. In the last month, say goodbye to brother Ranran and tell him to see you when you grow up. Auntie stroked her daughter's long hair and looked at the small town outside the window where she had lived for many years. She also felt mixed emotions in her heart. Or you can chat with your brother Ranran on video from time to time, it's all fine. In fact, in the eyes of adults, friendship is extremely short-lived. Often, when they are separated, they are really separated. At most, they will talk about it many years later. When I was a child, there was a boy I often played with, but I can't remember what he looked like. But little He Qing belongs to a very special category. Lin Sehengren has an unspeakable weight in little He Qing's heart. I don't know whether Auntie will come back, but little He Qing will definitely come back. It's Saturday again. Lin Sehengren was lying on the bed reading a book that day. The system's voice prompts that it is practicing. After reaching level 20, the second skill is also displayed, double cultivation. You have already mastered the practice on the road of luck. In the future, any fairy who has made a contract with you will gain double the practice progress and learning speed under your guidance. Note only when you teach yourself can the other party have double learning power. This ability cannot be automatically activated when practicing alone. This ability feels more and more developing in the direction of establishing a sect. The disciples I teach double their abilities, and because of the effect of the first ability, I can also gain double their abilities after their disciples practice. Isn't this just a matter of compounding the benefits? 4 times over, He Zhangzi comes to see you again today. She looks exhausted as if she has something important to discuss. The next moment, there was a knock on the door. Chapter 11. I'm willing to be bullied by you. Because it was Saturday, Dad Lin Yingjin didn't go to work. He heard a knock on the door and checked, and found it was little He Qing. Little He Qing changed into a beautiful white dress today, with a ponytail down to her shoulders. She raised her head with big watery eyes, and was obviously dressed up carefully, like a white swan. Uncle, is Lin Sehengren here? I'm here to see him. Lin Yingjin smiled and opened the door. It's Qing, come in quickly. Lin Sehengren is resting in the bedroom. Thank you, Uncle. Little He Qing heard that he was resting and tiptoed to the door of Lin Sehengren's room. She didn't dare to knock on the door to disturb him, but just called softly, Lin Sehengren? Lin Sehengren? I'm He Qing. I have something to tell you. Lin Sehengren was lying on the bed flipping through a book. Just come in. Remember to close the door. Little He Qing gently opened the door, saw Lin Sihengren on the bed, and closed it quietly. She walked to stand beside him, clasped her hands in front of her, still as honest as usual. Lin Sihengren turned his head in confusion. Little He Qing looked at him eagerly and pursed her lips. I came here today because I have 2 things to ask you and 1 thing to tell you. A total of 3 things. So many things? Just say it directly. Little He Qing lowered her head, and slowly asked the question she had wanted to ask a few days ago. Last week when the school held a sports event, I heard someone say that you and the discipline committee member of your class are a boyfriend and girlfriend. Lin Sihengren had a blank expression. Yes, that happened. And then what? His ordinariness made Little He Qing feel uncomfortable. Her eyes suddenly turned red, and she almost cried when she asked the second half of the sentence. She choked and said, "Is this true? Do you really have a girl you like?" After she finished speaking, tears welled up in her eyes. Lin Sihengren closed the book in silence, sat up and knocked her head hard. Why are you crying? You just cry in front of me all day long. Of course this is fake. Do you need to think about it? Little He Qing covered her head, and when she heard that it was fake, her head didn't hurt anymore, her tears stopped, and her big eyes suddenly lit up again. Ah! It's fake. Lin Sihengren sat cross-legged on the bed with his arms around his chest. Do you think I'm the kind of person who likes little girls like you? He was telling the truth. Before rebirth, someone was 28 years old. Who would like a 28-year-old boy like a little girl of 7 or 8 years old? He just felt that these guys were chattering and annoying. Lin Sihengren explained, that's because something happened before, and the class started to spread it, but it's okay if others believe it. He stared at Little He Qing viciously. I have to take time out every week to teach you taekwondo now. I'm with you all day long, and you still believe it, right? You have no brains. After being scolded by Lin Sihengren, Little He Qing was happy. There was a smile on her face, but of course she didn't dare to smile in front of Lin Sihengren. She tried hard to hold back and muttered, there is no letter, so I think it's fake and that everyone must be talking nonsense. Then why were you crying just now? Little He Qing blushed and lowered her head, scolding herself directly, because I don't have a head, it's empty inside. Lin Sihengren, you are quite self-aware. So what is the second question? Knowing that he didn't like a girl, Little He Qing became bolder. The second question is together with the third thing I want to say. Can I say it together? After getting Lin Sihengren's consent, Little He Qing told her about her grandma. Grandma has been sick recently and her health is not good. Mom has to go back to take care of grandma, so, her voice became very low, so I will transfer to another school next month and I may be in junior high school when I come back. Lin Sihengren didn't expect this to be so big, but he had expected it a long time ago. After all, Auntie would go home to take care of her mother every winter and summer vacation, and she would take care of her for a month. It can be seen that Little He Qing's grandma has always been in poor health. They will go back sooner or later. This is why Lin Sihengren has been teaching Little He Qing to speak up since kindergarten, otherwise she will inevitably be bullied when she transfers to another school. He patted the bed, meaning for her to sit down and talk. Little He Qing sat carefully beside Lin Sihengren, looking at him reluctantly. Lin Sihengren laughed, it's good to transfer schools. Now that you have learned taekwondo, no one will bully you except me. In this way, even I can't bully you in the future. Aren't you happy? Little He Qing shook her head, not happy. She lowered her head again, clasping her little hands. I still want you to bully me every day and I am willing to be bullied by you. Lin Sihengren did not speak immediately, but flicked her head again, and Little He Qing quickly hugged her head. You really have a brain problem. You are not like normal people. Lin Sihengren looked unhappy. He leaned on the head of the bed. After all, I am your teacher now, and I am also your childhood sweetheart. Remember not to embarrass me after changing schools, and don't be bullied. Little He Qing nodded. No, there are not many boys who can beat me now. I am very strong. I know you are strong, but the main reason you are bullied is your temper. If others cause trouble to you in the future, you should get angry. You will definitely not cause trouble to others, so you just need to protect yourself. Little He Qing nodded and wanted to cry again. Even if she didn't have a brain, she had understood why Lin Sihengren always let her do bad things in kindergarten after so many years. But these tears were quickly glared back by Lin Sihengren, and asked what the second thing was. Little He Qing said, my grandma knows that I learned taekwondo. Originally, I told her that I would win a championship this year, but if I transfer to another school, I won't be able to win it, So I want you to teach me for a month to see if I can win the championship in advance. In addition, after winning the championship, the coach said that the champion can choose a prize at will, and I want that prize too. Linz Hengren agreed without much thought. Okay, since you are leaving soon, I can still help you with this. It just so happens that I have some insights recently, so I can help you win the championship easily. Unexpectedly, the new things learned were used so promptly. If it weren't for the double teaching speed, Linz Hengren felt that it would be a stretch to let He Qing win the stadium championship 6 months in advance. When little He Qing heard Linz Hengren's promise, she didn't doubt him at all, because as long as he promised, he would never break his promise. Fairy, he received a letter from the sect, not only asking about your relationship with Miss Zhang, but also asking you to teach her more about the boxing skills before she returned. Although this time may not be beneficial, you still accepted a request and plan to teach her everything you know in this month. Miss Zhang. Miss Zhang is outrageous. Since the conversation in the bedroom today, Linz Hengren began to take out as much time as possible to teach Xiao He Qing to practice taekwondo in the last month. Every evening after school, or during lunch break, or on weekends, the two of them are basically together. Linz Hengren taught carefully and analyzed all the people in the taekwondo gym who could beat Xiao He Qing. Xiao He Qing also listened and studied seriously, not daring to be vague at all. Chapter 12 Swan Chocolate. Finally, after layers of observation, it was discovered that the only enemy that Xiao He Qing could not defeat was a fat boy named Xiaolong. This fat boy had a chubby face and was very tall. Although he signed up for taekwondo this year, he relied on his innate advantages to crush all the predecessors. Xiao He Qing, with her small arms and legs, naturally could not defeat the opponent. Linz Hengren asked her if she had ever competed with Xiaolong before. Xiao He Qing nodded. I fought twice. The first time he threw me to the ground in one go and knocked me out. What about the second time? The second time, he threw me to the ground in one go and knocked me out. Linz Hengren was ashamed. Then do you think you can beat him? No. Xiao He Qing told the truth, but in return, she was naturally humiliated. Xiao He Qing covered her head. Linz Hengren asked for the second time. I'll ask again. Do you think you can beat him? Little He Qing looked like she had done something wrong, holding her head and nodded. Yes, very good. Linz Hengren laughed. Aren't you very confident in yourself? When children fight, their physical size is secondary. What's important is their mental quality. As long as you are not afraid of him, even if you get beaten, you must continue to put on a tough and terrifying expression, and he will definitely be shocked by a little girl like you. Little He Qing didn't understand what he was talking about at all. What the hell is psychological quality? What does shock mean? I haven't learned it in the textbook. But I still nodded. Yeah, then our last month of focus training will only have one thing, to train your consciousness. After you have practiced well, as long as you defeat your opponent in momentum, you can practice other strength and leg skills casually. He can't beat you. Linz Hengren stared at little He Qing, looking like a coach. Come on, show me a terrifying or oppressive expression. Little He Qing looked confused, and finally bared her teeth cutely. Linz Hengren pulled her cheek helplessly with his hands. What are you doing? Show me if your teeth are white. Why are you pretending to be cute? Xiao He Qing closed her eyes aggrievedly. I'm not pretending to be cute. I can't do it. Someone sighed. Forget it. With his personality, who will be scared? Just learn from me. I will teach you to frown first, then make a cold face and finally look at people with squinting eyes. After Linz Hengren made the expression, Xiao He Qing followed him with a confused look. Of course, it was not smooth. Fortunately, after Linz Hengren's manual adjustment, her expression was fixed in a way that was still oppressive. On the street, Xiao He Qing frowned and stared into the distance, gritting her teeth, inexplicably more stupid and cute than before. Linz Hengren's expression looked like he had eaten a mosquito, but he could only take it slowly. He pointed to the road in the distance under the setting sun. Now run around this street 3 times with me. Your expression cannot change during the run. Start. After that, he ran away. Little He Qing hurriedly caught up. Linz Hengren, wait for me. You run so fast that I can't catch up with you. I'm waiting for you, aren't I? Run faster. And show your expression. Why aren't your teeth bared? Hold on. Linz Hengren's devilish training was not too difficult, but it was much more difficult for little He Qing than before. For the first time, she realized how tiring it was to pretend to be fierce and angry, and she couldn't help but feel curious. How tiring it must be for those adults who have a stern face every day. The training time soon came to the second half of the month. Today is a day off, and little He Qing went to the supermarket with her mother. Holding her mother's hand and coming to the big mall, little He Qing suddenly remembered something and ran to an expensive dessert counter. Lying on the glass cabinet, looking at the back of the counter, there was a chocolate dessert in the shape of a white swan. The dessert was not big, about the size of little He Qing's 2 palms, but the price was very expensive, costing several hundred yuan. The clerk at the dessert shop is a pretty young lady. It is not the first time she has seen He Qing. "Little friend, are you here to see desserts again?" Little He Qing hummed and pointed in a baby voice. "Sister, no one has bought this chocolate yet, right? You must save it for me, I need to buy it at the end of the month." The young lady bent down and smiled. "Don't worry, I've been saving it for you." But she pointed to Auntie in the distance. "The person buying vegetables over there is your mother, right? Why don't you let her buy it for you now? I can give you a discount." Little He Qing stared at the swan dessert and shook her head. "I'm not asking my mother to buy it for me, I'm participating in a competition. If I win, our coach said that I can pick any gift within 500 yuan. I want this one." "Oh," the young lady was curious, "what competition did you participate in? Are you so confident that you can win the championship?" "Taekwondo." "I'm confident." The other party walked out with a smile and touched little He Qing's head. "Little sister is so cute. Don't worry, I will definitely protect this dessert for you before the end of the month and wait for you to buy it. This dessert is delicious and will not disappoint you." Little He Qing shyly said thank you to her sister, but soon she looked at the dessert and thought of someone. "I'm not eating it myself, I'm giving it to someone else. He likes chocolate very much." He Qing felt that Lin Sehengren would like this gift very much, which is why she must win the championship. After buying the vegetables, Auntie called little He Qing. "Qing, do you want to eat dessert?" Little He Qing shook her head when she heard her mother's voice. "No. Just look at it." She said goodbye to the little sister, ran to her mother, and held her mother's hand again. Auntie asked, "What dessert were you looking at just now? You come to see it every time, but you really don't plan to buy it." Little He Qing shook her head vigorously. "I really don't want to buy it. Let's go home, Mom. I still have to find Lin Sehengren." Little He Qing knew very well that this was a prize. If she begged her mother to buy it in other ways, it would lose its meaning, and the dessert would become unpalatable. She couldn't give Lin Sehengren something unpalatable, which would make him angry. The little sister at the counter waved to little He Qing from a distance, but she just returned to the counter. A new customer pointed at the white swan and asked, "This one looks good. How much is it?" The lady smiled and said, "This one is not for sale. This month, there is only one left. Someone has already reserved it. If you want to buy it, you can come back next month. We will make a new batch next month." The customer said helplessly, "Okay, then I'll take a look at the others. Give me this one." She pointed to another dessert. "Okay, I'll pack it for you." The lady looked at the little girl who had disappeared in the distance and turned to get the packing box. Another week and a half passed, and the end of the month arrived. The players in the taekwondo hall today were extremely excited. Although it was just a small competition in the hall, some players were still very excited because of the prizes. Xiao He Qing changed into her snow-white taekwondo uniform backstage and took a deep breath in front of the mirror. When she walked out of the dressing room, she saw Lin Sehengren, who was sitting on the bench in the audience with his arms around his chest, and looked at each other. Lin Sehengren rarely gave her a thumbs up. Xiao He Qing's face was flushed and she nodded vigorously. She must win today. In front of him. Chapter 13 Winner. The taekwondo coach stood aside and blew the whistle. It's the semi-annual competition again. As usual, the first place winner can get a prize of 500 yuan of their choice, and the second and third place winners will get special gifts prepared by the venue. Now the competition begins. Everyone stood in line and fought each other according to the coach's random draw. Lin Sehengren watched Xiao He Qing defeat all the enemies one by one. She was completely different from the one who was bullied a few years ago. The momentum, strength, and eyes were all fundamentally different. He Xiangzi competed in the ring before leaving, holding the fairy sword in hand, and the momentum was quite strong. It seemed that she wanted to tell you that even if she returned to the sect, she would not forget the time she spent with you, and the days you practiced together. Now her strong spirit has proved it. Just before the final victory, you saw a strange concern in her expression, which might affect the final result. Xiao He Qing had already played to the last round, and there were only 4 people left on the field. After she finished competing with the second-to-last boy, She was suddenly thrown to the ground by that boy. Although she eventually defeated her opponent, He Qing was obviously in pain. The coach asked if she was okay, and He Qing shook her head to indicate that she was fine. The coach checked that she was indeed fine, and blew the whistle. Take a break, and the final competition will begin soon. Xiao Qing vs Xiao Long. Taking advantage of the break, Lin Zhengren walked to her side, and He Qing pursed her lips to report the results. We won again. Lin Zhengren also checked and asked what happened. We won, but why did you suddenly lose focus while playing just now? What were you thinking about? He Qing always spoke in a pinched voice when facing Lin Zhengren, half lowering her head. Nothing, just do you still remember when we were in kindergarten? She chattered the last few words. Lin Zhengren's face was full of question marks. What are you mumbling about? Little He Qing rubbed her arm and mustered up the courage to ask with a blushing face. Do you still remember what you said when you made a pinky promise with me in kindergarten? I thought it was something else. Of course I remember. Lin Zhengren was speechless. You mean the thing about me asking you to follow me for the rest of your life? Little He Qing's pupils trembled and sparkled, and she couldn't believe it. You didn't forget it. After that, Lin Zhengren gently tapped her on the head. Little He Qing closed her eyes and screamed. Lin Zhengren said unhappily, I only made a pinky promise with you that one time. You can't remember forgetting it so quickly? Besides, this is a game. You were distracted because of thinking about such an unimportant thing? You almost got yourself hurt. Little He Qing thought that this was not an unimportant thing, and timidly looked at the other party to explain. I'm sorry, I don't know why, I just suddenly thought of it and I was distracted. I will definitely not do that in the next game. Lin Zhengren, who was tired, didn't say anything, but he didn't continue to blame. He reached out his hand and touched Xiao Heqing's head in shock. It was the first time. Come on, if you beat Xiao Long, the championship today is yours. I believe you can win. Xiao Heqing had never felt such a clear encouragement before. Her face was red and she even had goosebumps all over her body. It was the first time in her memory that Lin Zhengren encouraged her like this. Her heartbeat quickened and she pecked at rice with all her strength. Okay. I will definitely win. Xiao Heqing was too strong at this moment, and her aura was twice as strong as usual. After walking onto the stage, the strong and tall Xiao Long was surprised. What's that expression on your face? Xiao Heqing pursed her lips. While having a strong aura, she also remembered what Lin Zhengren had told her before the game. When fighting against Xiao Long, don't smile or have any expression, just keep staring at him. Keep staring until he feels guilty. Only in this way can you defeat the opponent in aura. However, even after a month of devilish training, Xiao Heqing still didn't learn how to be ruthless. Lin Zhengren looked at Xiao Heqing's cute and silly appearance from the audience, covering his eyes, not ashamed to look. But who knows, under Xiao Heqing's cute expression. Xiao Long hit Xiao Heqing's arm in the confrontation, but was shocked by Xiao Heqing's cute expression of stern face and pursed lips. The cute look made the fat Xiao Long shy and confused. Thinking of her, she is so cute, how can she be so cute? Xiao Heqing pretended to be domineering and said in a pink voice, come again. Xiao Long attacked forward with a red face. He Qing obviously found that the opponent suddenly had no strength and was limp. So she saw the opportunity and directly threw Xiao Long to the ground with a back throw, and won the game with the coach's whistle. Xiao Heqing was surprised, and Xiao Long lying on the ground blushed. I lost. You are so cute and powerful. Won. Xiao Heqing raised her hand excitedly. I won. She excitedly waved Lin Zhengren off the court, and her eyes full of light seemed to say that the method you taught is really useful. In the second half, he suddenly lost his fighting power. What a powerful method. Lin Zhengren saw clearly why she won so quickly, and he couldn't complain. But even if the opponent was not touched by He Qing's cuteness, He Qing would definitely win in the end. This little girl had too much aura in the last round, and Xiao Long couldn't beat her at all. After the game, He Qing got the reward as she wished. She told the location and took the coach to the mall. When the lady in the dessert shop saw He Qing coming, she waved from a distance. Little sister, you are here again. It's the end of the month. Are you here to take a look or take it away? He Qing was ecstatic. I want to buy it. Oh? It seems that I really won. Yeah. The coach took out his mobile phone to pay, and the lady packed the things and handed them to He Qing. Please take it, customer. A total of 499 yuan. Welcome to come next time. Thank you, sister. He Qing was cautious and happy, holding the chocolate dessert. As the night deepened, He Qing and Lin Sehengren sat on the steps under the residential building in the community. The sunset in the sky made the surroundings dim. She put the chocolate cake on her lap. Lin Sehengren, this is the champion's prize, chocolate. Lin Sehengren didn't feel anything. It's really a prize for children. Little He Qing handed the cake to the other party with both hands. For you, huh? For me? Well, I want this just for you. You didn't take the chocolate that Dad gave me that time. I know you didn't want it because I couldn't bear it. So I didn't snatch it from me. This time I specially picked a good-looking one and gave it to you as compensation. Lin Sehengren's expression was dull. The most speechless expression is to laugh. You guys are really mentally ill. How could I take it when your chocolate was broken? Lin Sehengren didn't refuse the other party's kindness, but simply opened it directly. He broke off the swan's wing and handed it to little He Qing, while he ate the other wing. Here, let's eat together. Little He Qing took it with her little hand, and saw Lin Sehengren eat it first before she started eating. It was sweet. She chewed the chocolate happily, the heels of her little feet lifted up and fell down, and her ponytail also jumped up and down. Lin Sehengren asked, "Are you really going to come back after junior high school? There's nothing good here, right?" Little He Qing swallowed the chocolate. "I came here mainly to find you. By the way, can I call you when I return home?" The fairy won the game and unexpectedly gave you a piece of exquisite black blood paste with a heart. You and He Zionzi can share it, and gain strength +3, charm +2, and level +1. Lin Sehengren, it's up to you. If you want to fight, you can fight, but I may not answer. Chapter 14 Her Lady Queen. The next morning, Auntie checked out of the house and put all the things to be taken away in the car. The well-behaved little He Qing helped her mother, holding a package that was bigger than her head, and was exhausted and panting. Auntie reminded, Qing, take all the things. If you leave them behind, you can't come back. Little He Qing counted the packages. I didn't leave anything behind. She turned back to look at Lin Sehengren, who was going to school, and the two looked at each other. Everything that should be said had been said this month, and there was nothing else to say, so Lin Sehengren simply said, have a good trip. Little He Qing's eyes were indescribably complicated. She hesitated and opened her mouth to call, Lin Sehengren. The other party stopped. Little He Qing continued, before I come back, you try to play less with other girls, okay? Lin Sehengren didn't understand, and looked at him with contempt. Do I have so much free time? The adults were all amused when they heard this. They laughed non-stop, making little He Qing shyly clasp her hands, feeling ashamed. Lin Sehengren's father, Lin Yingjin, took the initiative to answer, don't worry, Zio Qing, I will supervise Ranran until you come back. Zio Qing bowed her head even more. Thank you, uncle, you're welcome, haha. Auntie also said, Qing, say goodbye to brother Ranran, let's go. Zio Qing waved to Lin Sehengren, and Lin Sehengren also waved. The two got on their respective cars and headed in opposite directions. But Zio Qing sat in the car and kept looking back. After a while, she sat back and looked out the window with a knowing smile. Although they were separated, they were also looking forward to seeing Lin Sehengren again in a few years. Lin Sehengren would probably be very handsome by then, because he is already very handsome now. After parting today, in fact, Zio Qing and Lin Sehengren were not as unfamiliar as imagined in the past year. Zio Qing would call Lin Sehengren from her hometown from time to time to report all her situations and ask about Lin Sehengren's recent situation. Lin Sehengren, I showed my grandma the video of me winning the championship. She said I was amazing. I said it was a boy named Lin Sehengren who taught me. She also said she wanted to meet you when she had the chance. Really, Lin Sehengren, have you been going to and from school alone recently? No, not with other girls, no. Do you really think I have nothing to do every day? Lin Sehengren, my grandma seemed to be getting better and better, but she got sick again some time ago. How are you doing recently? I don't know how to reply to you. I'm just a kid, how can my body be? I'm growing up so fast. Lin Sehengren, I've been back to my hometown for more than a year. It feels like time is passing so slowly. We are only in the 3rd grade now, and there are still 4th, 5th and 6th grades. When can we go to junior high school? A year later, Zio Qing and Lin Sehengren still had the habit of talking on the phone, but the frequency had changed from once every few days to once a week, and then from once a week to once a month. Another year passed, and it was the 4th grade. The time of phone calls is not fixed. Basically, Zio Qing will call Lin Sehengren only when something very happy or very sad happens. The line of fate, like the telephone line, has never been broken. Today is a light rainy day in the south. He Qing, who is 9 years old and in the second half of the 4th grade, got dressed and went to school from home. After a few years of separation, He Qing has become more beautiful and taller than before, and even her ponytail is longer than before. She took her mother's car to school. Carrying a school bag, she came to the noisy classroom. "He Qing, have you finished your homework yesterday? Copy it for me." He Qing handed the homework in her bag to the girl in front of her. "Don't copy it the same way, or the teacher will find out, I know." "Thank you, Queen, I told you not to call me like that," she muttered. He Qing is still the same as before, but because she has always followed Lin Sehengren's instructions, whenever someone bullies her, she will fight back. She threw the opponent on the back in front of everyone to show her strength. Not only the girls, but also the boys were shocked, so some people gave her the nicknames of Back Throw Queen and Queen Lady. He Qing didn't like these two nicknames, but she couldn't help it since everyone called her that. She even complained to Lin Sehengren about it. Maybe He Qing really didn't know how to make friends. Even after transferring to another school, she still didn't make any good girlfriends. She thought it might be because she always threw people on the back when she first came to school, so everyone was afraid of her. After school at noon today, He Qing went to the cafeteria to eat as usual. It was still raining, and she held an umbrella. When passing by the path behind the teaching building, He Qing suddenly heard the sound of quarreling in the distance, and looked over curiously, but she didn't intend to get involved. Because it was common for children to quarrel. As a result, she saw many girls surrounding a beautiful girl, and the girl surrounded looked familiar. After a closer look, she found that it was actually her classmate. He Qing remembered that her name was Han Wenwen, and because she was very beautiful, she was very popular among boys in the class. "I told you that it was his own business to come to me. What does it have to do with me?" Han Wenwen was cornered by everyone, but she was still not afraid. The girls who surrounded her shouted, "You are talking nonsense. You did it on purpose. I went to school and went home with him since I was a child, and he said he would marry me when he grew up. But some time ago, he stopped playing with me when he saw you, and he only knew to look for you every day," another girl also said, "and my brother. Why does he also look for you every day? He mentions your name at home every day." Han Wenwen was puzzled. "So what does it have to do with me that your friends come to see me? Do you think I care about them? There are so many boys who talk to me every day. Can't you find your own problems?" "What did you say? Are you saying that we are not as good looking as you? Are we all ugly? It was obviously you who seduced us." Seeing that they had already started fighting, He Qing ran over quickly. "Don't fight." Even though He Qing stopped them in time, Han Wenwen's face was still scratched a little, bleeding, and her hair was also pulled messily. However, Han Wenwen's temperament was obviously different from He Qing. Even if she couldn't beat others, she would fight back fiercely and scratch the other person's face as well. He Qing opened her arms to block Han Wenwen and testified for her. "Don't fight me. Han Wenwen and I are in the same class. I can testify that she really didn't seduce anyone. She didn't talk to boys in class." After that, she turned around and asked Han Wenwen, "Isn't that right? If I remember correctly, you also eat alone in class, right?" Han Wenwen looked at He Qing and wiped the blood off her face with her hand. The group of people saw that they were involved and wanted to fight with He Qing. "Who are you? What does it have to do with you?" He Qing reminded. "Don't come over here, don't come over here. Don't fight with me." As a result, the other party grabbed He Qing's clothes, and He Qing threw the other party to the ground in the rain with a back throw. With a snap, water and dirt splashed. The other party was stunned at first, then lay on the ground and cried loudly, "It hurts, it hurts, I want to go home and tell my mother." Little He Qing panicked and comforted, "You are okay, it hurts but I have skills to throw people, I won't get hurt." The other girls looked scared, stepped back a few steps, and ran away quickly. Han Wenwen was also stunned behind. She had heard of He Qing's name in the class, the wrestling queen, but she had been classmates with her for half a year and had never seen it in person, but she didn't expect that she would really throw people. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, Vixen. The girls ran away for a long time before He Qing realized what had happened. She thought they would tell the teacher. Would that mean she would be scolded? But she would be scolded anyway. She consoled herself that she was doing a good deed anyway, and even if Lin Zhengren knew, he probably wouldn't tell on her. She turned around and saw Han Wenwen, whose face was still bleeding. Are you okay? Am I a little late? Han Wenwen recovered from the shock and smiled. No, thank you for helping me. If they tell my parents, I will testify for you. Little He Qing breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time she felt that this girl named Han Wenwen was really pretty. When she smiled, her eyes looked like a little fox. Her face was very small, with an oval face, and she was indescribably delicate. You're welcome. Do you want me to accompany you to the infirmary? Your face is broken. It's okay. Han Wenwen took out a small mirror from her pocket and looked at the wound. This little injury is not painful. I can go by myself. You go to the cafeteria to eat. After that, Han Wenwen walked away in the rain without an umbrella. Seeing her like this, little He Qing chased after her. Don't you have an umbrella? How about I go with you? You'll catch a cold. Han Wenwen saw He Qing chasing after her and was a little puzzled by her kindness. Why are you so nice? If you accompany me, you won't be able to eat lunch. He Qing smiled helplessly. It was because Lin Zhengren was not there at the moment, otherwise he would understand that He Qing's expression was completely imitating her. It doesn't matter if I skip a meal. The teacher said that helping classmates is the most important thing. We are in the same class. Han Wenwen would never have thought that someone would really say this in her life. She could only smile and nod, and walked with He Qing. However, the two of them did not go to the infirmary, but went to the small garden of the school, where there were some pavilions and fish ponds. He Qing was curious about what she was doing here, and saw Han Wenwen come to a wall and pick out a small box from a small brick gap. After opening it, there were band-aids, lip balm, hairpins and other small items for girls. She put the band-aid on her face, put the small hairpin in her hand, put the other things back, and sat on the bench in the small pavilion. Little He Qing blinked her eyes and looked confused. Why are you sitting here? If you don't go to the infirmary, you can still get food in the cafeteria now. We are sitting here waiting for someone to bring us food, Han Wenwen replied. Bring us food? Who will bring us food? Do your parents work in the school? Will they bring you food at noon? Han Wenwen blinked her beautiful fox eyes. No, you will know later. By the way, what do you like to eat? I heard that there is chicken chop rice in the cafeteria at noon today. Do you like it? Little He Qing also heard about it. I like it, but if you don't line up early, you can't get chicken chop rice, right? It's hard to get it. Han Wenwen smiled meaningfully and patted her side. Let's sit and wait together. Since you helped me, I can't let you go hungry. Little He Qing still didn't understand, but soon she found that someone really came to bring Han Wenwen food. And it was not one person or an adult, but several boys. The boys came here with umbrellas, each holding a lunchbox. Han Wenwen, what do you want to eat today? We've bought it for you. Han Wenwen walked over to He Qing's shack, and then picked up 2 chicken chop rice from their hands. She smiled sweetly at them. Thank you, as a reward for getting food for me. Here, I'll give you my hairpins. The 2 boys who were chosen blushed and took her hairpins. They looked very happy. As for the remaining 3 boys who were not chosen, Han Wenwen didn't even look at them, and went back to sit next to He Qing. She smiled at He Qing and said, see, I said someone would bring us food, right? This one is for you. He Qing took it for some reason and saw that Han Wenwen had picked up the spoon and started eating. The boys left one after another. However, some of them still shouted, Han Wenwen, I will definitely guess what you want to eat tomorrow. You must also give me a gift. Han Wenwen still didn't respond and ate by herself. It wasn't until all the boys left that Han Wenwen explained to He Qing while eating chicken steak, I know you have a lot of problems. To put it simply, these boys who came to deliver food all like me and have confessed to me, but I don't like them, so I don't want to pay attention to them. Han Wenwen licked the rice at the corner of her mouth, but some boys are very stubborn. They think that even if I reject them, as long as they keep pursuing me, I will still like them. So they send me gifts and food every day, but I really don't have any feelings for them. At first, I even thought it was annoying. Han Wenwen turned to look at little He Qing, but then I figured it out. Since they want to deliver food to me, why shouldn't I want it? Just think of it as them getting food for me. I'll give them my hairpins or rubber bands as a reward and thank you, and everyone will be happy. Little He Qing was stunned. I feel like I can understand what you said, but I also feel like I can't understand it. This is the world of children, don't understand? That shouldn't be the case. He Qing, you are also very beautiful. Has no boy ever confessed to you? Little He Qing blushed and waved her hands. No, there are some. She put down her hands. There was one last year, and one this year, but I definitely rejected them all. How old are we now? And she didn't say that there was someone living in her heart, and she would not like other boys. Han Wenwen blinked her fox eyes. That may be because there are too few boys chasing you. Let me think. She bit the spoon and calculated. There are 7 or 8 who confessed to me this semester alone. So many. Why? I mean, I know you are very beautiful, but this is too exaggerated. Han Wenwen's eyes curved into crescents. Maybe I look like a vixen. Although I am not the prettiest, it is proved that my appearance is the most favored among boys. Boys seem to want me. She saw that little He Qing didn't eat, and reminded, eat it. This is what I exchanged for a hairpin, and my hairpin is quite expensive. Little He Qing stared at the lunchbox in her hand and opened it, and found that it was really chicken chop rice, the kind that you can't get even if you snatch it normally. She was stunned. She scooped a spoonful and put it in her mouth. It was very delicious, but soon she suddenly reacted and remembered that Han Wenwen was beaten just now. Then you were wronged by those girls just now, right? After all, you don't seem to like boys at all. Han Wenwen blinked her beautiful eyes. Well, of course. How could I seduce their childhood sweethearts or brothers? I hate these boys the most. Little He Qing breathed a sigh of relief. Who knew that? Han Wenwen continued, but it is true that their childhood sweethearts and brothers are really pestering me. Among the people who just came to deliver food to me, there are those 2 boys. Speaking of it, I am also kind. Otherwise, if I told them that their sister beat me, I guess they would listen to me and avenge me. Little He Qing, Han Wenwen's tone slowed down. I actually didn't think about breaking up those people. It doesn't benefit me. Han Wenwen ate another mouthful of rice happily. I told you this because you saved me. I will remember this matter and I will repay you in the future. After all, even those boys. I never asked them for things for no reason. I always gave them things of equal value. I won't take advantage of others. Chapter 16 Weird. After seeing Han Wenwen's life, Xiao Heqing truly realized that the gap between people is indeed greater than the gap between people and dogs. It seems that they are both going to school and going home, but in fact they are completely different experiences. Han Wenwen asked suddenly, by the way, when we were talking about whether anyone confessed to you just now, why did you suddenly freeze? Who did you think of? Do you have a boy you like? Xiao Heqing blushed and couldn't answer, hesitating and panicking. Han Wenwen smiled with relief. Okay, just pretend I didn't ask. Let's eat. Of course she saw it. That night, Xiao Heqing returned home and told Lin Suhengren about the strange things that happened today. In fact, she hoped that something strange would happen every day so that she could talk to Lin Suhengren on the phone every day. Otherwise, she couldn't find a reason to call. She couldn't say that she missed him. At night, little He Qing sat leaning against the head of the bed in the bedroom, with a desk lamp on, wearing white pajamas, and chatting with someone on her mother's mobile phone. Lin Suhengren, I want to tell you that I helped a female classmate today. That girl was very beautiful and many boys were chasing after her. Then, we had dinner together. Little He Qing wanted to tell all the details, but felt that it was not good to gossip about classmates, so she only spoke selectively. So Lin Suhengren was confused. Go on. Xiao Heqing played with her ponytail with her other hand, rolling it around on her fingers. No more, just like that. Lin Suhengren, Xiao Heqing, what are you doing recently? Are you still going to school and going home alone? The other party replied, almost, but sometimes there are other people. She puzzled. A girl? Yeah, a girl. Xiao Heqing's expression immediately became unhappy, and her eyes even turned red and she wanted to cry. She instantly imagined that the mysterious girl might eat with him after school, practice taekwondo with him on weekends, and even take a nap in each other's arms. But then she heard Lin Suhengren say, recently, my neighbor went on a long trip and left her little bitch at our house. She followed me all the time when I came home. Little He Qing was startled, covered her heart, and burst into laughter. So it was a puppy. Then what else is there besides the puppy? No more. Oh no, there is also, who? My parents. Little He Qing breathed a sigh of relief again. Every time Lin Suhengren chatted with her, she felt like she was shuttling back and forth between heaven and hell. She whispered, Then I'll accompany you to and from school when I get back. Oh, by the way, Linz Hengren, I have a question for you. She remembered the question Han Wen asked her today, and she wanted to ask Linz Hengren at that time. Before the 4th grade, children did not have a deep understanding of the word like or dislike, but after the 4th grade, it seemed that the frequency of using this word began to increase. Linz Hengren, I'm a little curious if any girl has confessed to you in the past 2 years. Your curiosity is getting more and more weird, he said bluntly. Yes, little He Qing knew there would be, and her tone became nervous. Are there many who confess to you? Not many. You know I don't like chatting with little girls. I find it annoying, so I have no interest in them. He Qing thought to herself that she was also a little girl, and she would find it annoying to chat with her. But it's annoying. I just annoy you. I just annoy you. Of course, she didn't dare to say this out loud, otherwise she would be scolded. Little He Qing continued to circle her hair with her little hands, checking the ends of her hair, and the topic stopped for a while. Linz Hengren asked, we have talked for a long time today, is there anything else? I'm going to hang up now. Yes. Don't hang up yet. Zio He tried to think if there was anything else. Let's talk for a while. The chicken chop rice in my restaurant today was delicious. Really? Then bring me a portion when you have a chance. Okay, you idiot. Didn't you say that the food in your restaurant changes every day? It's not certain whether there will be chicken chop rice in the future, and who hasn't eaten chicken chop rice yet? Zio He secretly stuck out her tongue, looking very happy to be scolded by him. Although Linz Hengren also told Zio He about his current life tonight, there was one thing he didn't mention. After all, Zio He didn't know the protagonist of this matter, and she still hasn't figured out the cause and effect. The next morning, Linz Hengren packed his school bag. He checked the panel. 2 years have passed, and Linz Hengren is now about to break through the bottleneck of level 30, but the higher the level, the slower the improvement. Today's weather is slightly cloudy, maybe it will rain. You are practicing daily. Current spiritual energy level is 28. Your total attributes are strength, 8, energy, 9, stamina, 13, charm, 11, strength rating is unmatched in the novice village. Run, it's time to go to school. The weather is bad today. Do you want to bring an umbrella? Lin Yingjin asked after putting on his leather shoes. Linz Hengren went to the door and opened it. I have one at school, no need to bring it. He was taken to the elementary school by his father. Linz Hengren entered the classroom and looked at an empty seat near the door of the classroom. That was Zhang Zuli's desk, and the two were still in the same class. She hadn't come yet. The class was always noisy in the morning, and they waited until Zhang Zuli, who had twin ponytails, came in from the door of the class. Some people looked at her and suddenly stopped talking. Zhang Zuli, who used to be fierce in the class, seemed to have lost half her life at this moment, looking at the disgusted expressions of everyone looking at her. Sit back in your seat. She is no longer a disciplinary committee member, and she was dismissed 2 days ago because a very strange thing was discovered in the class 2 days ago. The monitor, who has always been honest and never violated discipline, brought a mobile phone to the classroom without permission, but lost it on the first day. The next day, the class was going to hold a small fundraising event, but after the deputy monitor collected the money, he found that half of it was missing. The teacher was very angry and asked whoever took it to bring it out immediately. At that time, Zhang Zuli also served as the vanguard of the class to investigate the thief, checking everyone's school bag one by one. But in the end, she found it in her own school bag. Not only did she find the money, but she also found the mobile phone in the innermost hole of the table. Zhang Zuli panicked at the time, looking at everyone's shocked expressions, and hurriedly explained, I didn't steal it. I am a disciplinary committee member. How could I steal everyone's money? This mobile phone was not taken by me. The class was half believing and half doubting her until her deskmate Zhang Zio stood up and corrected her. The money was taken by Zhang Zuli. I saw it when I returned to the classroom at noon. Zhang Zuli looked at her deskmate in disbelief, her eyes trembling. The class was in an uproar, everyone was talking about it, everyone looked at her with strange eyes. The teacher also dismissed Zhang Zuli from her position, and notified her parents about it. Miss Zhang was confirmed to have stolen silver and a sword. You have some friendship with her and have seen some clues, but this matter is a bit troublesome. Helping or not helping is two different opportunities. Chapter 17. Do you really believe me? 2 days after the incident, Zhang Zuli has been in this state, and the rumor seems to have gradually spread to other classes. However, as the system said, Lin Zhengren, as an absolutely neutral bystander, did find some details wrong, and it would be easy to see the clues over time. In the third and fourth periods of the morning, the physical education class, the physical education teacher asked everyone to divide into groups of 2 to do sit-ups. Free to choose a partner. In the class, girls are basically with girls, and boys are with boys. But it is conceivable that even if the number of girls is exactly even, the last girl would rather find a boy than to be with Zhang Zuli. She was left behind as a matter of course, and the physical education teacher asked, "Have you all been divided into groups, teacher?" Zhang Zuli hasn't found a partner yet. A gloating boy raised his hand, and everyone looked at him with indescribable weirdness. Zhang Zuli stood there with a pale face. The pay teacher was curious. "Zhang Zuli? Why can't you find a partner? If you can't find one, then wait until the first group has finished practicing, and then find someone to help you." Someone was just looking for trouble. "Teacher, no one will help her. She's a thief, and none of us will team up with her," Zhang Zuli explained in a panic. I'm not a thief." "You are." "Yes, you dare to say you're not. The teacher has removed you." When the pay teacher heard about the thief, he remembered that there was indeed such a thing in this class some time ago, but he didn't ask again. "Don't discuss this in pay class. Only sports are allowed." The teacher looked at Zhang Zuli. "Whether she is a thief or not, don't you have a good relationship with anyone?" Zhang Zuli's eyes turned red when she was looked at by the teacher. She felt that the teacher's eyes were clearly looking at a thief. But she couldn't say anything. At this moment, someone in the team suddenly raised his hand. "Teacher, I'll be in the same group with her." Everyone, including the pay teacher, looked at that person. The one who raised his hand was Lin Zhengren. Zhang Zuli also looked at the other person in disbelief. The physical education teacher nodded unexpectedly. "All right, then Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli will be in the same group. Okay, let's stretch our bodies and start practicing." Everyone talked about it again, and some familiar gossip was inevitable. "I didn't believe that they were boyfriend and girlfriend before, but now it seems to be true." "Yeah, but how can Lin Zhengren be so tasteless that he also likes a thief? He is the first in our class. Are they really dating?" Lin Zhengren looked at everyone with a cold face. "What are you talking about?" Everyone in the class shut up. No one wanted to fight with Lin Zhengren. After all, this guy was very special, with good grades and strong strength. If Lin Zhengren didn't want to be the class monitor, he would have been the class monitor at the beginning of the school. The physical education teacher asked everyone to divide into groups. Lin Zhengren looked at Zhang Zuli, who came to his side. She was staring at him as if she had seen a ghost. Lin Zhengren frowned speechlessly. "What's that look in your eyes? It feels like you're looking at a monkey." "How could I?" Zhang Zuli pursed her lips and answered in a low voice. You are willing to partner with me? Aren't you afraid that you will also be talked about? You worry about so many things." Lin Zhengren looked indifferent. "Let's not talk about the fact that we have always been the subject of discussion in the class. Do you think I am the kind of person who cares about other people's opinions? I don't care about them at all." "Okay." Zhang Zuli's face was slightly dull and she said, "Yes, you have always been weird and no one can understand you." The physical education teacher began to call everyone to start practicing. Lin Zhengren sat on the lawn, and Zhang Zuli held Lin Zhengren's legs and practiced sit-ups. She stared at Lin Zhengren's expression as usual, and asked hesitantly, "Do you believe me?" But the voice was too small, and Lin Zhengren did not answer immediately. Zhang Zuli thought he didn't hear it, and didn't have the courage to ask the second question. "Who knew that after doing 2 sit-ups?" Lin Zhengren answered, "If I didn't believe you, I wouldn't be with you. I think anyone in our class could steal something, but you wouldn't. After all, I can see that you like the position of discipline committee member very much, and you won't do such a thing that ruins your hobby." Zhang Zuli didn't know what kind of mood she was in when she heard this. She just felt that the boy in front of her was very pleasing to the eye. Her heart was beating very fast, and her mood, which had been suppressed for several days, was much better. Even the air became fresher. A faint smile appeared on her face mixed with an inconspicuous blush. She pressed his legs harder. It was gloomy at noon, and it really started to rain. And the rain was not small. When Lin Zhengren was eating, he went to the back of the classroom to check, but he couldn't find his umbrella. He suddenly remembered that he seemed to have taken it home last time it rained, and didn't bring it with him. Everyone in the classroom had gone to the cafeteria one after another. When Zhang Zuli was about to go, she saw Lin Zhengren walking out of the classroom with nothing in his hand. She looked at the umbrella in her hand and followed him for some reason. Arriving at the first floor of the teaching building, Lin Zhengren looked at the heavy rain falling on the campus and asked the person behind him in confusion, "Why are you following me?" Zhang Zuli, who was following behind, was stunned and came out from the corner and said proudly, "Who is following you? Nonsense. I have to go to eat too, and I must pass by here." Lin Zhengren looked back at her, and Zhang Zuli pretended to look away, with her twin ponytails falling halfway down her waist, which was very playful. She stammered, "Did you not bring an umbrella? Or share an umbrella with me? Although I have never shared an umbrella with a boy, I can't watch you get wet." She continued to look away, and her eyes secretly glanced at Lin Zhengren, who knew that Lin Zhengren replied, "No, no." Zhang Zuli was shocked. She walked to his side. "How can you go without an umbrella in such heavy rain? And didn't you say you are not afraid of rumors? Are you afraid to go with me?" Lin Zhengren said calmly, "The main thing is that I think you don't seem to want to go with me." Zhang Zuli choked and clenched her fists. She said stubbornly, "Yes. I don't want to share an umbrella with you. After all, I'm a girl and you're a boy. If we share an umbrella together, people will gossip about us, but there's nothing we can do about it." Lin Zhengren stared at her expression curiously. He had only seen it in virtual works. "Zhang Zuli, do you know what tsundere is?" Zhang Zuli uttered an ah, shook her head. "I've never heard of it." "What is tsundere?" "Nothing, just think of it as me praising you." She had a strange expression and muttered, "Really? I don't think so. I'll search the internet to see what this word means when I get home tonight." "So do you want to share an umbrella with me? Make a decision quickly, many people are watching us." "I'm shy." "Okay." There were indeed many people in the lobby on the first floor looking at this side. It was indeed very rare for a boy and a girl to share an umbrella together in elementary school. Lin Zhengren thanked her, and Zhang Zuli finally felt relieved, holding an umbrella for Lin Zhengren. Since she was not tall, Lin Zhengren finally took over the umbrella. "Let me do it." "Aren't you tired of stretching your arms so straight?" Zhang Zuli put her hands behind her back and shyly walked close to him in the rain. "Who made you so tall?" Maybe the space under the umbrella was very hidden. Zhang Zuli couldn't help but ask again, "Do you really believe me? Believe that I didn't steal anything? My classmates all think I'm a thief. Didn't I answer that in physical education class?" He saw the other party's expectant eyes and helpless. "I really believe you, but I'm curious if you just let it go," Zhang Zuli happily retorted, clenching her fists. "Of course I can't let it go. I'm going to find out who framed me, and then teach her a lesson." "And why did Zhang Zio point out that I took it? She was obviously lying. I have to investigate this matter clearly." "Oh. I really didn't realize you were so ambitious. You seem to be wilted these 2 days," Zhang Zuli said insincerely. "Nonsense. Who said I was depressed? I am fine now. I just couldn't recover for a while before." Lin Zhengren laughed and didn't want to comment. Zhang Zuli put down her fist and secretly looked at Lin Zhengren. Her ponytail swayed with her steps, and she was very happy. "What are you laughing at? And you are laughing so ugly." At the entrance of the teaching building in the distance, Zhang Zio was holding 2 pink umbrellas in her hands, looking at Lin Zhengren who was leaving with Zhang Zuli. Some things seemed to be more counterproductive. Lin Zhengren. Chapter 18 Investigation Team. That night, Zhang Zuli returned home with her school bag on her back. Jiang's mother, who was sitting on the sofa, saw that her daughter was in a much better mood today, and asked in confusion, "Zuli? Are you okay?" Zhang Zuli looked silly and cute, and her jumping ponytail stopped. "It's okay, I'm going back to the bedroom." Jiang's mother said one more sentence before entering the bedroom from the opposite side, fearing that her daughter would be upset. "Don't think too much, at least mom believes in you." Zhang Zuli looked back at her mother and smiled. "Well, thank you, mom. I have been a disciplinary committee member for so many years and I am very strong. This little thing will not defeat me, mom, don't worry." She closed the door and leaned against the door. Only the person herself knows how much pressure this matter has put on her, but when she thought of what Lin Zhengren said to her today, that simple and direct trust made Zhang Zuli's face still blush even if she just recalled it. "I didn't expect his eyes to be so good that he knew I was framed." She put the school bag on the table and took out the mobile phone that her mother had discarded from the drawer while talking to herself. Searching for the meaning of the word tsundere on the page, she was curious whether Lin Zhengren was praising or scolding her today. The result was quickly displayed on the screen. Zhang Zuli silently recited the answer displayed. Tsundere means that a person has a double attitude in order to cover up shyness. The more she recited, the redder her face became, and her pupils seemed to be repelled. She stared at the screen in shame and anger and said, "What is this? Who would be shy with him? I'm not at Sundeer. I obviously hate him to death." She once again thought of the other party's trust and the scene when they were holding an umbrella together today. Her tone softened suddenly, biting her lip and staring at the phone. "I hate this guy to death." So she searched on Baidu again. "Do boys like Sundeer personalities?" The encyclopedia showed, "Gods of ancient times." Zhang Zuli opened her eyes wide with joy. What a high evaluation. Then she searched for the third time. "Will boys who think they are adults all day like Sundeers?" The next morning, Zhang Zuli's bedside alarm clock rang. She yawned and then jumped out of bed. "I changed my pajamas into school clothes, went to the bathroom and combed my long hair into 2 ponytails, and looked at my cute little canine teeth in the mirror. I swore to myself in the mirror, today I must find out what happened and prove my innocence." So an hour later, Lin's Hengren was blocked by Zhang Zuli in an alley, with a puzzled look on his face. "You said you wanted me to help you? Why?" Zhang Zuli looked stubborn and stared at him. "What do you mean by why? Aren't we friends and classmates in the same class? I found you because I think you are smart. Not everyone can do it." Lin's Hengren wanted to leave out of boredom, but was stopped by Zhang Zuli. He said nervously, "What are you doing? Why are you leaving?" "Okay, I'll tell you the truth. I don't have any clues. I need someone to help." And then, she lowered her head and hummed like a mosquito. "I think you are the only one I can trust." "Huh? I didn't hear clearly." Zhang Zuli closed her eyes shyly, clenched her fists and shouted, "You know I don't have any other friends. Please help me. As long as you help me, I am willing to do anything." Lin's Hengren's eyes were meaningful. "Willing to do anything?" Zhang Zuli suddenly hugged her body, her heartbeat quickened and she stepped back a few steps in fear. "What do you want to do? I warn you, there are some things you need to be responsible for after you do them. Don't be impulsive." She retreated to the wall and couldn't retreat any further. Lin's Hengren walked towards her. Zhang Zuli hurriedly closed her eyes and bit her lips. Who knew that after a moment, there was only a click in her head, and Lin's Hengren gave her a blow on the head. This is the attitude of asking for help. Otherwise, with your usual arrogant attitude, who would help you? Zhang Zuli remembered the meaning of the word arrogant in pain. She opened her eyes unconvinced and looked at someone sideways. "What arrogant? I'm not arrogant." She cursed the other person in her heart as idiot. "Pighead, what the hell is that look in your eyes?" Lin's Hengren took 2 steps back and reminded, "I must make it clear in advance that I can help you, but I won't help you for free. You have to give me some compensation." "Compensation? What do you want?" "You have decided to take action on Miss Jiang's matter. You know that she is a little girl who has made her way in the world alone and must have a few hidden treasures. You may ask for a few of them for your help today, or you may just help her out of chivalry without asking for anything in return." "Personal treasures?" Lin's Hengren looked at Zhang Zuli, curious about what treasures she could have. It couldn't be chocolate like He Qing, right? Zhang Zuli felt uneasy when he stared at her. Lin's Hengren asked, "Do you have any treasures or something? The kind that you rarely show to others." "Treasure?" Zhang Zuli suddenly thought of something, blinking her eyes and feeling incredible. "Yes, there is, but what do you want that thing for?" Unexpectedly, she really has it. "That thing? What is that thing?" Zhang Zuli looked away, her face flushed. "I won't tell you. That's my thing. It's up to you. You don't have to care what I want it for. Just say whether you will give it to me or not. If you do, I will help you." Zhang Zuli frowned and struggled, as if it was really an incredible treasure, but after a lot of struggle, she reluctantly said, Okay. As long as you help me, I will give it to you. I have been working on that thing for a long time." She stretched out her little finger. "Pin it. Keep your word." Lin's Hengren felt that this action might be liked by all girls, and stretched out his hand. "Deal." The two officially became an investigation team from this moment. It's just that real life is not as confusing as in novels, and things between children are still easy for Lin's Hengren to investigate. He first asked Zhang Zuli if she had offended anyone recently, preferably something that happened a few days ago. Zhang Zuli answered a few names and said, "Actually, the day before the monitor lost her phone, a girl in our class also brought her phone and I told the teacher." Lin's Hengren was speechless, thinking that she was probably involved in this. Then he asked Zhang Zuli to pretend to cry in the classroom. Zhang Zuli asked why. Lin's Hengren replied, "Didn't you notice that since everyone thought you were a thief, the monitor who lost something never said anything about you? She didn't even dare to look at you, which proves that she is very guilty." So you find an opportunity to deliberately cry in front of her, saying how wronged you are, and maybe she will tell you the truth directly. Zhang Zuli thought Lin Zhengren was a genius. But how should I cry? Lin Zhengren knocked her head. You are a girl, can't you even cry? If you really can't help, use eye drops. After buying eye drops, Lin Zhengren dripped them into the other person's eyes, and even dripped too much. Zhang Zuli hit Lin Zhengren with tears on her face. You've cried too much, it's all flowing out. Lin Zhengren laughed at her tearful appearance. Not much, just right. The class monitor is cleaning the class alone now. Go and cry and see what she will do. Chapter 19 The Truth. The honest monitor in the classroom was cleaning. Zhang Zuli followed Lin Zhengren's instructions, crying and choking in her throat as she walked to her desk. The monitor who was sweeping the floor was frightened, so she chose to hide aside. Zhang Zuli lay on the table and cried for a while. Seeing that the monitor was still sweeping the floor with his head down and ignored her, she took away her hand that was wiping her tears and secretly looked at Lin Zhengren, who was hiding outside the door. The meaning was, the monitor ignored me. Lin Zhengren smacked his lips and responded with his eyes, you are so stupid, don't just cry, add some words to make it more serious. The more serious the better. Zhang Zuli nodded, and after a moment she suddenly burst into tears. I'm sorry, monitor, I'm sorry. The monitor who was sweeping the floor was startled when he heard Zhang Zuli read out her name, and looked at her from behind with some entanglement. Zhang Zuli continued to complain, everyone says that I stole your things, but I really didn't. Woohoo, I don't know what's going on. I plan to drop out of school and never go to school again. If I can't go to school, I won't be able to find a job and will have to pick up garbage on the street to eat every day. Lin Zhengren outside the door, although it's a bit exaggerated, it's quite vivid. Zhang Zuli sobbed, in the future, I can only eat rotten apples and moldy tomatoes that others don't eat, and my mother won't want me either. Classmate Zhang Zuli, you said you want to drop out of school. The class monitor, who as a child, couldn't bear to listen anymore. She felt that this was too pitiful and she shouldn't be treated like this. Can you stop crying first? Wipe your tears first. Zhang Zuli didn't expect that the class monitor would really comfort her, and she cried even harder. Woo. Class monitor, I know you don't believe me, but I really didn't steal your phone. The class monitor came to Zhang Zuli with a broom, and saw that her face was full of tears. He was so distressed that he couldn't speak. I believe you, I believe you. Zhang Zuli sniffed and stared at the class monitor, her voice intermittent due to sobbing. Really? Do you really believe me? But why would you believe me? Did you find the phone in the hole in my desk? The class monitor frowned and looked like she was about to be unable to hold back her words. Seeing this, Zhang Zuli quickly pulled her arm. Monitor, do you know something? Just tell me. I promise not to tell anyone else that you said it, please. Under the condemnation of his conscience, the monitor chose to redeem himself, put down the broom and walked to the door to see if there were any other people. Lin Zhengren also took this opportunity to run away. Fortunately, this was a physical education class and everyone had already gone to the playground, and basically no one would come back. The monitor handed Zhang Zuli 2 pieces of toilet paper to wipe her tears. I will tell you everything I know. Actually, I also find this matter very strange, because after I accidentally brought my cell phone to school that day, the cell phone was not with me at noon, but was borrowed by Jiang Lin from our class. She said she wanted to talk to her mother on the phone, so she borrowed my cell phone. The monitor continued, then, Jiang Lin told me in the afternoon that my cell phone was stolen. And the next day the cell phone was found in your desk. But this matter is so strange, because when I lent it to her in the cafeteria, I was afraid of losing it so I kept the phone with me. But when I went to ask her for it in the afternoon, she said it was stolen. But I remember you were cleaning the classroom at noon that day and didn't go to the cafeteria for lunch. Zhang Zuli nodded. Yes, it was because I didn't go to the cafeteria to eat, so everyone said that I was the only one who stole your cell phone when I was cleaning. The monitor sat next to her. You see, isn't this strange? I even suspect that someone deliberately framed you. Zhang Zuli felt that everything became clear after hearing this. Lin Zhengren also heard the conversation between the two outside. After the physical education class, Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli did not go to the restaurant for lunch. The two of them ate bread on the steps at the entrance of the rooftop of the teaching building. After all, the door to the rooftop was locked and they could not go up. Zhang Zuli looked at Lin Zhengren chewing bread and said to him, so this must have been done by Jiang Lin and the others, because the day before yesterday I told the teacher about their group playing with their mobile phones. Those people must have hated me and framed me. Lin Zhengren looked forward. It seems so. Then why do you think your deskmate pointed you out? So far, this matter seems to have nothing to do with her. Zhang Zuli suddenly thought of something, and her face blushed as she ate the bread in small bites. Actually, there is. If you insist, I can still find reasons for her to frame me. Oh, Zhang Zuli said very embarrassedly, can't you see it? Seeing that Lin Zhengren still had a question mark on his face. Zhang Zuli looked at him like an idiot and whispered, my deskmate likes you. Every time the class said we were a couple, didn't you see that she was a little unhappy? And she would secretly look at you from time to time, huh? How do you know she secretly looks at me? Zhang Zuli was speechless. Because we are deskmates. So what if we are deskmates? I don't know who my deskmate looks at every day. Lin Zhengren took it for granted. She blushed and retorted with her eyes closed, that's because you are different from normal people. In fact, it was because Zhang Zuli also occasionally peeked at Lin Zhengren that she found out that her deskmate was also looking at him, but she could only keep it in her heart. After scolding Lin Zhengren, Zhang Zuli snorted and continued to chew on the bread. Forget it, it's useless to talk to you, an idiot, and I'm just suspicious. She may not really correct me for such a thing. Lin Zhengren looked to the front, it doesn't matter. Anyway, you have been with me all day for the past 2 days, and your mood has improved visibly. The people who framed you will definitely panic. We will secretly follow the group of people who framed you these 2 days, and we will always hear something. Yeah, Zhang Zuli opened the last bag of pickled mustard, stuffed it into Lin Zhengren's hand, and said insincerely, you eat the last bag. I don't like pickled mustard. Lin Zhengren puzzled, you didn't like it, but you ate 2 bags. Zhang Zuli was ashamed and replied angrily, what do you care about me? You don't think I'm treating you well, okay? You don't think too much? I don't mean anything else. Oh, I really didn't think so. Zhang Zuli gritted her teeth at his attitude and raised her little fist. Idiot. Big idiot. No girl will marry you when you grow up like this. You talk as if there are boys who would marry you. All that noise. She didn't want to say anything more. The more she talked, the more wrong she would be. She muttered to herself, then it's just right for us to be a couple. What? Zhang Zuli wanted to crawl into the ground. She didn't expect that what she was thinking would be spoken out loud. She covered her ears in embarrassment and said, I didn't say anything. A few days later, Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli secretly followed a group of people with a tape recorder. Sure enough, a week later, they overheard their conversation and obtained the most crucial evidence of this wrongful case. The truth would be revealed on the same day. Chapter 20 The Truth Comes to Light. Behind the bushes outside the campus cafeteria, several girls who were usually very naughty in class were talking about it, including Zhang Lin, who the class monitor mentioned. Recently, Zhang Zuli has been with Lin Zhengren all day. Do you think they have found out anything? Probably not. How can we find out? There was no one around when we put the phone in her desk hole. No one was there, but Lin Zhengren is the top student in our class. I'm afraid he will know that it was us who did it. What should we do? I didn't expect this to become such a big deal. If we tell the teacher now, our parents will be called and we will all be expelled. The more people talked about it, the more anxious they became. They have been restless because of this matter these days. At the corner outside the bushes, Lin Zhengren and Zhang Zuli were pressed against the wall. Zhang Zuli held a recorder in her hand. After listening to the whole thing, she gritted her teeth and said, these guys. They really did it. I can't let these guys go. Lin Zhengren shushed Zhang Zuli, motioning her to stop talking because those people were talking about Zhang Xiao. Then the girls were heard saying, by the way, what happened with Zhang Xiao that day? Why did she point out Zhang Zuli in the class? She wasn't there when we put our phones and money down. Zhang Lin replied, I forgot to tell you. Zhang Xiao actually saw us putting our phones down that day, but she said she wouldn't tell on us and would pretend not to see it. I didn't expect her to point out Zhang Zuli in the class. That's normal. After all, Zhang Xiao likes Lin Zhengren, right? She doesn't like Zhang Zuli. Zhang Zuli, who was in the corner, heard this and didn't expect that she had guessed it right. She turned off the recorder and whispered to Lin Zhengren, now everything is clear and the evidence has been preserved. Lin Zhengren smiled and said, you can clear your grievances soon. Do you plan to go tell the teacher directly or scare them here? If you go out with a recorder now, do you believe that these guys will cry? Zhang Zuli clenched her fists angrily. Of course I have to scare them. Even if they are classmates in the same class, this is too bullying. I can't take this anger for nothing. Zhang Zuli shook her twin ponytails, held her head high and walked out of the corner with a recorder in her hand. Her voice was like the dawn. Don't you think what you did is too much? Her voice really scared the girls and made them tremble with panic. Zhang Zuli. And Lin Zhengren, why are you two here? Zhang Zuli held up the recorder. What do you think? I have recorded everything you just said. You have done so many excessive things, just wait for the teacher to call your parents. Lin Zhengren naturally walked out as well, but before the two of them could say anything else, suddenly, more than half of the girls turned pale with fear and burst into tears. They cried and said sorry, 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 and they didn't expect things to be so serious. Especially Zhang Lin, who was the leader, she was even the first to cry. Lin Zhengren was speechless. The children were really children and couldn't hold it back at all. Of course, crying loudly was useless. The teacher had to tell the world about this matter. At most, the punishment would be adjusted according to Zhang Zuli's mood and whether Zhang Zuli forgave them. But before telling the teacher, Zhang Zuli went to find her deskmate Zhang Xiao. This time Lin Zhengren didn't go because Zhang Zuli said, it doesn't matter if it has anything to do with her or not. I'll go talk to her myself. Lin Zhengren shrugged, it's up to you. After all, I'm just helping. Zhang Zuli found Zhang Xiao alone and told her that she knew everything and even got the recording of the group's chat. Zhang Xiao lowered her head. She didn't cry, but her face was very tangled and painful. It seemed that she had known it would be like this. She also said to Zhang Zuli, I knew that this matter could not be concealed. Since Lin Zhengren is helping you investigate, he is so smart that he will definitely find out. I'm sorry for you, Zhang Zuli said coldly, it's too late for you to say sorry now. I will ask the teacher to change the table, and we will not be deskmates in the future. She saw that the other party turned around and wanted to leave without saying anything, but Zhang Xiao suddenly squatted down crying and covered her face. Zhang Zuli, I'm sorry, I shouldn't do this kind of thing, I will never do it again, and I don't know why I did that day, but I really don't like seeing you two together. Actually, Zhang Zuli saw her uncomfortable expression and told the truth. Actually, my relationship with him was not that good at the beginning. If you hadn't caused these things this time, maybe we wouldn't have eaten and chatted together these days, and we wouldn't have become so familiar. Zhang Xiao cried even harder. Zhang Zuli left after saying this, not realizing that this sentence was far more painful than directly scolding the other party. In the afternoon, Zhang Zuli didn't even take the recorder, and directly took the group of girls, Zhang Xiao and the class monitor to the head teacher's office together. She explained everything clearly. The head teacher was shocked. After knowing the truth, she scolded all the girls severely and called the parents of all the students except the monitor. The group of girls received a second scolding. The whole afternoon, there was only crying in the office. After the scolding, the head teacher apologized to Zhang Zuli alone. I'm sorry, Zhang Zuli, the teacher shouldn't have said that to you in class last time. Your discipline committee teacher will help you recover. I'm sorry, Zhang Zuli smiled and nodded. The next morning, all the students in the second class of the fourth grade sat in the classroom. The head teacher sternly reiterated the matter on the podium. The last time there was a theft in our class, after investigation, it was proved that Zhang Zuli was wrongly accused. She didn't take the monitor's things or everyone's money. I won't mention the names of those who wronged her here. If Zhang Zuli hadn't forgiven you, this matter would not have ended so easily, but even if she forgave you, you all know what you did. I hope you can remember this lesson. Always keep this in mind in the future. And thank Zhang Zuli. If there is a similar thing in our class in the future, I will never let the criminal off lightly like this time. The head teacher spoke hoarsely for more than 10 minutes. Although he didn't name anyone, everyone knew it at a glance, and those who usually followed in wrongly accusing Zhang Zuli were also embarrassed. Head teacher, I declare that from today on, Zhang Zuli's status as a discipline committee member will be officially restored. I hope she can better perform the duties of a discipline committee member in the class in the future. Everyone applauded our discipline committee member. The applause from the whole class grew louder and louder, and Zhang Zuli sat there a little shy. After a week, the theft was completely over. Everything was back to normal. Children really don't remember things, and the theft was quickly forgotten. Zhang Zuli was still the same as before. When she saw someone talking or chatting, she would quickly write it down on the blackboard. A naughty boy asked, disciplinary committee member, do you really like Lin Zhengren? If I say that I have a good relationship with him, can you not remember my name? Zhang Zuli blushed and said, what nonsense are you talking about? Who said me? She closed her eyes and suddenly changed her wording shyly. I like whoever I want to like. What's it got to do with you? I will write your name first. When the class heard this, many people started to make a fuss. Disciplinary committee member really likes Lin Sehengren. Look, he's blushing. Zhang Zuli stood there angrily. She turned around and glanced at Lin Sehengren, who didn't care. She became even angrier, and she blurted out, what does it have to do with you? What's wrong with me liking him? If anyone makes a fuss again, I will write you down on the blackboard. I will write you all down on the blackboard. The whole class was stunned, and Zhang Zuli was also stunned. Chapter 21 I feel sorry for you. The sudden honesty made everyone in the class speechless. Some boys and girls who had been cheering were even shy and stunned. No one thought Zhang Zuli would really admit it. Because the purpose of everyone's cheering was just for fun, and they never thought that whoever said it would really like whoever, would really be with whoever. After all, they were all children, but Zhang Zuli blurted out this sentence. Not only did she feel embarrassed, but the whole class also grew up. From now on, no one in the class would say, disciplinary committee member, do you really like Lin Sehengren? Instead, they would change to, disciplinary committee member, will you two get married when you grow up? Zhang Zuli's face was like a cooked prawn. She ran to her seat with steam coming out of her mouth, and covered her ears and lay on the table. Only Lin Sehengren seemed surprised and not surprised. Others looked at Lin Sehengren's reaction. Lin Sehengren was flipping through the book calmly, as if nothing had happened. On the same day, little He Qing, who was far away in the south, kept sneezing today, and her mother asked her if she had a cold. Xiao He Qing said no, and she didn't know what happened. She definitely didn't know that there was a thief in her house. 2 days later, Saturday finally arrived. By the way, because of an accidental inquiry, Zhang Zuli discovered that Lin Sehengren's house was just across the street from her own house. It turned out that they lived so close. The two of them got together on Saturday and planned to go to Zhang Zuli's house to see the so-called treasure. When passing by the beverage machine, Zhang Zuli stopped and asked Lin Sehengren what he wanted to drink. Lin Sehengren spread his hands. I don't have any money. Zhang Zuli was speechless. I'll treat you, Lin Sehengren said to drink pulse. Zhang Zuli responded, put in the coin to get the drink, and when she bought it, she muttered that she was afraid that Lin Sehengren would think too much. It's not that I want to treat you, but I just happen to have money in my pocket, and I'm afraid you will die of thirst. I didn't ask. You said this so redundantly. It seems like you want to treat me to drink water on purpose. Zhang Zuli was so angry that she threw the drink over. You think too much? Lin Sehengren took it and said thank you. Walking side by side on the road, Zhang Zuli felt that she was getting closer and closer to him. Lin Sehengren, don't take what I said in class last week to heart. She lowered her head shyly, not wanting Lin Sehengren to see her shy look. I really don't like you. I just got anxious and shouted casually. Lin Sehengren unscrewed the drink and said, oh, I know. After waiting for a long time, Lin Sehengren didn't say the second sentence. Zhang Zuli went from shy to angry, and kicked Lin Sehengren's calf hard with a puffy face. Lin Sehengren scolded her, why did you kick me? Are you sick? You know a piece of wood. No. I think you are a piece of wood. She stopped there and said shyly, stupid, big idiot. Even if I don't mean that, I said I like you in front of so many people. Don't you have anything to say? Lin Sehengren saw that she was crazy, and was curious about how a little girl of 8 or 9 years old could have so many inner dramas. She was in love all day long. Don't take your own words to heart. Why should I write a review after reading this? You. Just wait to be single in the future. Anyone who likes you must have a problem with his brain. Lin Sehengren thought to himself, is this considered scolding himself? In return for his kindness, he kicked her lightly on the butt, making Zhang Zuli shyly look at him with her butt covered. Lin Sehengren, why are you looking at me? I just came back. Also, don't scold so many people. There are so many people who like me. Zhang Zuli bit her lip and looked away and snorted. Come on, who would like you? Stop talking nonsense. Take me to your house to see the so-called treasure. I'm helping you for this. Zhang Zuli patted her butt, thinking that he was not sincere. It was obvious that you helped me first and then asked me for the treasure. It was obvious that you didn't help me for that thing. She hurriedly chased after him. Don't walk so fast. Wait for me. Following Zhang Zuli's home, Lin Sehengren came to Zhang Zuli's bedroom. This was the second room of a different girl that Lin Sehengren entered. It felt not much different. The room was all pink. There was a doll on the bed. Girls were indeed the same in such a place. Lin's Hengren sat on Zhang Zuli's bed and saw that Zhang Zuli was fidgeting. After a while, she said, "How does my room look? I knew you were coming yesterday and specially cleaned it up. Don't say it doesn't look good." "I cleaned it up for a long time," Lin's Hengren flattered. "It looks good." Zhang Zuli knew it was flattery, but she was happy in her heart. She carefully took out a book made of magazines and news from the drawer. "Look, this is my treasure. I have been working on it for a long time and have collected it for many years." Lin's Hengren took it and opened it to check. "You successfully helped Miss Zhang clear her name, and she gave you her personal cultivation method to learn. This method was created by Miss Zhang herself, combining the strengths of hundreds of schools. Although it is not a top-notch method, it is also considered top-notch. You carefully check the method and gain charm +4, strength +4, stamina +1, and level +2. You are about to break through to the 30th level of spiritual energy, directly increased 2 levels. This is the first time that the reward is so good." After carefully checking the spliced book, Lin's Hengren found that it was actually a music knowledge encyclopedia. It not only has various musicians, but also how to sing, singing techniques, song splitting, etc., which are extremely detailed. Seeing Zhang Zuli's embarrassed look, Lin's Hengren felt puzzled. "Do you like singing?" Zhang Zuli stuttered, but still didn't want to lose face. What's the matter?" "Nothing, I really didn't know you like singing. After all, you've never sung before." She clenched her fists. "Who would have nothing to do to sing in front of others? People will think they are crazy. Can you sing for me?" Zhang Zuli shyly. I usually don't sing in front of others, but if you really want to hear it." Lin's Hengren nodded. "I really want to hear it this time." He stared at the huge collection in his hand. "You can spend time on these. I'm really curious about your level." Zhang Zuli was confused as to why he suddenly became serious, and stood up. "Okay, then what do you want to hear?" "I don't want to sing. I only sing because you want to hear it. Don't blame me if it's bad. Whatever you want, just don't sing nursery rhymes." "Got it." Zhang Zuli took a deep breath, adjusted her voice, and started singing. Lin's Hengren opened his eyes wide in surprise. He really didn't expect Zhang Zuli's voice to be so good. She was so young and her level was so high. She was exactly the same as the original singer. With this passion, she might be very successful in the future. In the evening, Lin's Hengren went home and Zhang Zuli offered to see him off. "Do you want to become a singer in the future?" he asked. It would be a lie if Zhang Zuli said she had never thought about it, but this goal was too ambitious. The more she studied it, the harder it would be. "My mother said that not everyone can make it in this industry. I know my own level, and it's fine to sing for fun." Lin's Hengren looked to the front. "It may be difficult, but I think you have hope. It would be a pity to give up at such a young age." Zhang Zuli's support for him was incredible. She thought he would go against her as usual. "Is this true? Do you really think so?" "Yes, from the bottom of my heart, I really think you can do it." Zhang Zuli's heart was really pounding at this moment. Her little hands were clenched tightly, and suddenly she laughed, walked up to her, and said seriously, "Lin's Hengren, if there is really no girl willing to marry you in the future, it's not impossible for me to marry you." She pointed at Lin's Hengren and said proudly, "But I didn't marry you because I liked you. I just felt sorry for you. I said this because I was afraid that a fool like you wouldn't be able to get a girl. Did you know that?" If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 He Qing and Zhang Zuli's Questions. It's almost summer, and the evening breeze is warm. The two people on the street looked at each other, the little girl's twin ponytails fluttered, and the atmosphere inevitably became a little strange. But when Lin's Hengren saw her say this, he just pressed her head with his hand and continued to walk forward. "I don't know. Besides, do you know what it means to get married?" "Marry me." Zhang Zuli flicked his hand away. "Who said I don't know? Isn't it just marrying you and having children?" Lin's Hengren looked back in disbelief and saw that guy said shyly, "But after all, I married you because I felt sorry for you, so I can only have one child with you. Don't expect too much." He was too lazy to pay attention to this guy. Whoever takes the words of a child seriously will lose. Zhang Zuli saw that he was walking farther and farther away, and continued to chase him. "Hey! Walk slower. Don't you have any reaction to what I said?" Big idiot. When he returned to Lin Sehengren's house, it was his father who opened the door. Today was a day off and his parents were at home. Ranran is back. Lin Yingjin opened the door after hearing the knock, and saw Jiang Zuli behind his son. This was not the first time Jiang Zuli came to Lin Sehengren's house. Since she knew that their homes were close, she came about 3 or 4 times. Jiang Zuli greeted shyly, "Hello uncle, I'm here to take Lin Sehengren home." Lin Sehengren thought to himself, just send him home. Who would send a good person to the doorstep? Dad Lin Yingjin is usually a very free and easy person, but at this moment he was a little embarrassed as a parent. "Hello, Xiaoli." The reason for the embarrassment was that his wife was answering the phone in the living room. Lin Xiaoli heard her son coming back and ran over with the phone. "Ranran is back? It's just right, Qing called you. Hurry up and answer the phone." She saw Jiang Zuli at the door with the phone in her hand, and her anxious expression turned into a silly look, and her mind went blank. Jiang Zuli continued to greet them half-knowingly. "Hello, Auntie, I'm here to take Lin Sehengren home." Lin Xiaoli looked at her husband, and Lin Yingjin also looked at his wife. Lin Xiaoli smiled awkwardly but politely. "Hello, Xiaoli, have you had dinner? How about eating at our place?" "No, Auntie, I haven't finished my homework yet. I have to go back to do my homework." Jiang Zuli looked at Lin Sehengren. "Then I'll go home, Lin Sehengren. See you next week." She waved her hand and said goodbye to Lin Sehengren's parents. Lin Sehengren nodded. "Got it." Lin Sehengren walked into the house and took the phone from his mother. "Hello? Why are you calling me again?" He went to the bedroom while talking. Jiang Zuli looked at Lin Sehengren's tone of voice when he was calling before going downstairs. Qing is a girl's name. Why does it sound a little familiar? Is it a classmate from school? She walked down the stairs slowly, reacted in a trance, and finally remembered that it was probably in the 1st or 2nd grade. There was a female classmate following Lin Sehengren all the time. Later, the girl disappeared. Did she move? Or did she transfer to another school? But if it was one of these two cases, why did they keep in touch after they separated? Could she be his relative? His sister? She slowed down her pace, and her twin ponytails bounced as she went downstairs, as if she was thinking about something. Lin Yingjin and Lin Xiaoli quietly poked their heads out of the door of the room. He whispered, "Xiaoli, be careful on the way back. You are always welcome to come to our house to play." Jiang Zuli was stunned when she heard this, and turned back shyly. "Thank you, uncle and aunt. I will come to play with Lin Sehengren again next time I have the chance. Goodbye, uncle and aunt." After that, she hurried downstairs. Lin Xiaoli touched her husband with her elbow. "Isn't it embarrassing? Why didn't you remind me?" Lin Yingjin was helpless. "How could I know that a little girl would always send our son to the door of the house? I didn't have this kind of treatment when I was a child." "Did Qing hear it?" "Of course I heard it. I was just talking on the phone." The couple sighed together. Lin Yingjin said, "Why do I suddenly have a feeling that our son's future marriage will be very troublesome?" Lin Xiaoli shook her head and sighed. "I think so too, especially this Xiaoli and Xiao Heqing. I think they are both very good." And she looked at her husband. "Ranran is just in elementary school." Lin Sehengren walked into the bedroom and closed the door. Xiao Heqing asked on the other end of the phone, "Lin Sehengren, did you just come back? Did you go out to play today?" "Well, I was not at home on Saturday," Xiao Heqing said, and asked cautiously, "I may have heard it wrong just now, but was that a girl's voice?" Lin Sehengren sat down on the bed and said naturally, "A classmate in the class. I wanted her things so I helped her. I just went to her house to get the things." "Oh," Xiao Heqing didn't know what expression she had on the other end. "Then why did she send you home?" Lin Sehengren looked disdainful. "How should I know? Maybe she felt bad that I didn't take that guy's gift." "What's the matter? Tell me." Xiao Heqing heard Lin Sehengren's tone and felt that it was no different from before, so she felt a little relieved. "Oh, I've made a good friend recently, the girl who looks like a little fox that I mentioned to you last time. Although there are many boys chasing her, she is a good person and always helps me. I found out that we are neighbors. Now we go to school and eat together every day." Lin Sehengren saw the water cup on the table and wanted to go to the living room to get a glass of water. As a result, when he went out, he suddenly saw his parents watching TV. When they found out that he went out, they suddenly sat up straight. Mom even asked with concern, "Ranran, are you chatting well with Qing? Did you not quarrel?" "Ah." Lin Sehengren took the water. "Why did I quarrel with He Qing?" 2 months passed unknowingly. The spiritual energy level 30 barrier was finally successfully broken through when he was promoted to the 5th grade. After another period of training, you have successfully broken through to the 30th level. New hidden abilities have been unlocked, which will make you even more invincible in the arena. The new ability is the upper limit of the medium, that is, the qualitative change effect can be obtained after the 4 ability values each reach a certain value. Your current ability value is Strength 13. When the value reaches 50, you can obtain the special ability of Muscles without exercise, Energy 15. When the value reaches 60, you can obtain the special ability of 7 times a night without fatigue, Stamina 19. When the value reaches 70, you can obtain the special ability of double physical strength and 3 times the endurance of doing things, Charm 20. When the value reaches 40, you can obtain the special ability of speaking and doing things to get double the favor of the other party. The additional effect behind this value is the so-called upper limit of the medium, right? Just at a glance, Linz Hengren always felt that these descriptions were not serious. What's going on? Another year. The 6th grade, the last year of elementary school, has finally arrived. The small town in the south has a special day today. Liangxin Festival. It is said that today, as long as you go to a tree called the heart tree and hang a red wish string, God will arrange a good partner for you if you don't have a partner, and those who have a partner will be happy. So Xiao He Qing specially made an appointment with her best friend Han Wenwen today, hiding it from the adults, to go to the Liangxin Festival together to hang red strings. Thanks to the Big Brother Elemental Swordsman for 5 monthly tickets. Thanks to the Big Brother 33,267 for 1 monthly ticket. Thanks to the Big Brother Little Tuanzi Oao for 2 monthly tickets. Newcomer, new book, please vote and read. Chapter 23, Heart to Heart Festival. Standing in front of the bathroom mirror, she fixed her hair and tidied up the edges of her snow-white skirt. Mom, I'm going shopping with Han Wenwen. Please tell Grandma when you get up. Auntie was making breakfast in the kitchen. King? You don't want to eat breakfast. Wenwen and I will buy some food. Goodbye, Mom. Little He Qing has grown into a beautiful girl, and the embryo of a beauty is gradually growing. Compared with the pure and lovely a few years ago, the word beautiful now finally appears on her face. Of course, compared with her best friend Han Wenwen, she thinks she is not as beautiful as the other party, because Han Wenwen has found that the other party looks more and more like a vixen since the day He Qing met her. It's just that Han Wenwen's face doesn't have a bit of cuteness, but instead has a touch of indescribable temperament. The two have different characteristics. Little He Qing walked to the intersection and waited. After a while, Han Wenwen, wearing a slim pink skirt and long hair, carefully came out from behind. She covered Little He Qing's eyes from behind and kissed her on the cheek. Guess who I am? Little He Qing was so embarrassed that she froze and exclaimed, Wenwen, why are you teasing me like this again? You guess it right. Han Wenwen covered her mouth and laughed, tilted her head back, blinked her fox eyes, and looked charming. What's wrong with the girls kissing each other? If you don't kiss now, I won't be able to kiss you in the future. Little He Qing wiped her face helplessly and looked at her. What do you mean we won't be able to kiss each other in the future? Didn't you say that you would go to the same junior high school with me? Han Wenwen took He Qing's arm. Yes, I want to go with you, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is that when you go to school with your childhood sweetheart, what share will there be for me? Little He Qing blushed and couldn't answer. What nonsense are you talking about? Han Wenwen asked. Have you talked to him on the phone recently? No, nothing has happened recently, but I can call him after the Liangxin Festival today. The two best friends walked towards the market. You are really diligent with him. You tell him whenever you have something. I'm curious how handsome he has to be to make you so addicted. Little He Qing muttered. It's okay. He was very handsome when he was a child, but I don't know what he looks like now. Huh? Don't you two call each other from time to time? You've never had a video call? No, I really admire you. You are really timid. Han Wenwen was stunned. Since the two girls met on a rainy day at school 2 years ago, Han Wenwen wanted to repay He Qing's kindness. Whenever He Qing was asked to clean the classroom, Han Wenwen would stay with He Qing. Even if someone said something bad about He Qing, Han Wenwen would help to fight back. Anyway, He Qing was very capable, so Han Wenwen was not afraid of her getting angry. He Qing was a person who would repay a drop of kindness with a spring. No matter what Han Wenwen's purpose was, being good to her was being good to herself, so she would naturally be good to her. So the two gradually spent every day together. After 2 years, They had become best friends who could talk about anything and knew a lot about each other. It was very lively at the Elixirs festival. The two best friends were holding hands or holding arms and strolling around various stalls. And they were very happy. When they came to a stall selling love letters, little He Qing suddenly remembered, Wenwen, has there been any boy who confessed his love to you this month? Han Wenwen bent down to check the envelopes, resting her hands on her knees. They all looked familiar. Yes, it may be because of the Elixirs festival this week. I found 3 letters in my school bag yesterday. Ah, 3 letters? Have you read them all? Han Wenwen shook her head. No, I'm too lazy to read how much they say they like me, and I'm not interested in them. She turned back curiously. Why, your good brother hasn't written you a love letter, He Qing replied shyly. What? Actually, he and I haven't reached that level yet. I don't even think he knows that I like him. Han Wenwen was speechless and rolled her eyes at her bestie. Do you think boys are stupid? Although they are a little silly, I don't think your good brother is a fool. Well, he is really smart and good at everything. The two strolled for a long time, from the bottom of the mountain to the foot of the mountain. The place called the Heart Tree is halfway up the mountain, and it is also the most lively place for this Elixirs festival. Interestingly, when the two best friends were halfway through their shopping, suddenly several boys rushed out holding flowers, as if they had been waiting there for a long time. The boy in the middle confessed his love to Han Wenwen with flowers in his hands, and he looked like a student from another school. Little He Qing breathed a sigh of relief. Even she was used to it, not to mention Han Wenwen. As expected, Han Wenwen rejected him in a naughty and direct way. Sorry, I don't like you, but you look handsome. Maybe other girls will like you. After she finished speaking, she took out a hairpin from her pocket and smiled. Hey, this is something I have worn before. I give it to you as a souvenir. We are going to continue shopping. Bye. Han Wenwen is like this. Even if she refuses, she will praise the other party. Maybe this is why those boys still like her after being rejected. Finally, they came to the Tree of Wishes. This tall and majestic ancient tree was hung with red ropes of wishes. The breeze blew, and the red ropes fluttered in an extremely stunning way. This was the first time that little He Qing saw it. Her eyes widened with sparkling eyes. It's simply the embodiment of romance. I heard that 1,000 years ago, a pair of lovers separated because of something under this tree. As a result, they tied a red rope around the tree and found each other. That's right. Did you bring your own red rope today? Little He Qing nodded and took out a red rope with a red cloth strip tied to it from her pocket. I brought it. What about you? Han Wenwen shook the rope in her hand. Of course I brought it too. Let's find a place to write our wishes. I heard that the success rate is higher if you write them on the spot. The two best friends came to a vacant place and squatted down to write on it. He Qing wrote down carefully, I hope I can meet him soon, and be together forever. After writing, she saw Han Wenwen biting the pen cap in a daze. Wenwen, you haven't written yet. I'm thinking about what to write. I really haven't thought about what kind of boy I like. He Qing laughed, thinking that all kinds of boys have confessed to you, and you didn't choose any of them. Actually, I'm also very curious. Oh, I got it. Han Wenwen took the pen and wrote on the red string, I want my future man to know what I want. He Qing didn't understand it. What does this mean? That is, I hope my future boyfriend is someone who can resonate with my soul. After saying that, He Qing suddenly laughed, and Han Wenwen also laughed, and the two giggled and leaned against each other and joked. He Qing covered her mouth and laughed. It feels so literary. Tie the 2 red strings on the tree of love, and the 2 red strings will be connected to the tree. If you write the red string but don't like someone, you can get a hand card next to it, and the card will show the surname of your future boyfriend. Han Wenwen picked up a piece at random, and the word Lin was written on it. Little He Qing was surprised when she saw it. Lin, Han Wenwen asked, what's wrong? Your good brother's surname is Lin, right? Yes, his surname is Lin. Han Wenwen took her best friend's arm and held up the hand card high. It seems that we are really good friends. Even the surname of our future boyfriend is the same. Don't you think it will be your good brother's younger brother or something like that? The two best friends continued to hold hands and stroll in the Elixirs festival while joking. The 2 red ropes on the tree were entangled together by the wind, as if they were tied into a knot by the wind. Chapter 24 Childhood Sweethearts. Before going home, Han Wenwen teased little He Qing a few more times. Little He Qing would also be shy and pretend to be angry, so Han Wenwen smiled and coaxed her again. By the way, He Qing, what's the name of the school you want to apply for? It happens that my uncle is going to take me to travel to the north this year, and I plan to go to the school to have a look. I haven't asked it yet. I'll go back and ask him tonight, then tell me the name when you know it. See you tomorrow. Bye He Qing. Bye Wenwen. As the night deepened, little He Qing didn't even taste the dinner tonight. She quickly swallowed it and took her mother's mobile phone to the bedroom to make a call. Perhaps it was just such a coincidence that Zhang Zuli happened to be at Lin Sihengren's house at that time. Just as she was about to go home, she saw Aunt Lin's expression after she answered the phone. Hello? Is that Qing? Ranran is now. Lin Xiali looked at Zhang Zuli walking towards the door and then looked at her son next to her, and smiled helplessly. Ranran. Qing called. Oh, let her wait for a while. I'll take Zhang Zuli downstairs and call her back later. He looked indifferent, which was in sharp contrast to the embarrassment on his mother's face. Lin Xiali nodded. Okay, then I'll tell Qing. The mother followed her son's words verbatim. Xiao Heqing didn't think too much because she had a lot of fun today, and nodded happily. Okay, Auntie, I'll just wait for him. Lin Sihengren walked out of the door, wondering what someone was in a daze. Zhang Zuli, let's go. I'll take you downstairs and talk to you about the registration. Zhang Zuli glanced at the aunt talking to the mysterious girl, responded and followed behind Lin Sihengren. He became more and more curious about who the girl was and why she contacted the big fool so frequently. It has been more than a year since the farce in the 4th grade. Because of He Qing's departure, Lin Sihengren has had fewer adventures in recent years. It can only be said that fate is so coincidental that a girl named Zhang, who likes to sing, has appeared next to him. So a year ago, when he knew that Zhang Zuli liked to sing and had just reached a certain music bottleneck, Lin Sihengren asked Zhang Zuli, "You are stuck when learning? Do you want me to teach you?" Zhang Zuli was stunned at the time, holding her stomach and laughing. What are you going to teach me? You can sing, so teach me. Lin Sihengren didn't say much, but sang a rare song in the music class that day. Although it was not very professional, as a time traveler, he had learned some by himself in his previous life. After listening to it, the teachers praised Lin Sihengren for his good vocal skills and talent. This simple and direct operation shocked Zhang Zuli and made Lin Sihengren a little famous in several classes. After class, Zhang Zuli found him with dull eyes. I didn't know you could sing so well. There are so many things you don't know, Lin Sihengren reminded. So do you want to learn from me? If you want to learn, nod and say you'll follow me in the future. If you don't want to learn, forget it. I won't force you. Zhang Zuli heard the blind spot. Follow you. Her face flushed, and this time she nodded without being arrogant. She really liked singing. Okay, if you, a big fool, have real skills, then teach me. I'll follow you all my life. She stretched out her little finger like little He Qing did back then. And Lin Sihengren made a pinky promise with her. The voice of the system also came out. You have successfully concluded a fate with Miss Zhang. In the future, when Miss Zhang practices, you will get double the practice feedback, and because of the effect of the level 20 skill, when you teach the other party the practice method, the other party can also get double the practice speed. After the contract of fate, Lin Sihengren began to teach Zhang Zuli how to sing better and what the method of composing songs is in his spare time, during breaks, after school, and on Saturdays and Sundays. Anyway, the two of them didn't need to avoid suspicion, and rumors had already been flying around. And with the feedback of the system, every time Zhang Zuli's realm was upgraded, Lin Sihengren could double it, and every time she was stuck, he could give her the most critical guidance. This also shocked Zhang Zuli, and she also had a little unwilling to admit admiration for him in her heart. You know so much about music? I feel that if I had met you earlier, I might have become a star a long time ago. After learning from you, I have made rapid progress. Lin Sihengren flicked her forehead, and seeing her pain, he retorted, it's not too late now. Recently, I found out that there is a child star studio in our town. People over 12 years old, that is, junior high school students, can sign up. The agent is quite formal. If you really want to enter this industry, you can sign up and try. Zhang Zuli felt that he really arranged everything. The sentence "I think you can do it" back then was not a joke. So Zhang Zuli asked the same question again with a red face that day. Although I really like this line of work, are you sure I can be a singer? This line of work is said to be difficult to walk. You big fool, do you really think I can do it? Lin Sihengren said confidently. What's wrong with it? Even if you can't do it, don't I have you to teach me? Some words are so lethal that even Lin Sihengren himself could not imagine it. When Zhang Zuli heard this, She felt that she would definitely fall into the hands of this idiot in this life. Saying these words to a girl, she didn't know how she would like others when she grew up. Time came to a year later, which is today. The days are short in winter and the street lights are on. Jiang Zuli's ponytail jumped and followed Lin Zhengren as she went downstairs. Lin Zhengren said, "In half a year we will be promoted to junior high school. I recently read the posts of that studio and found that they are now scouting child stars in various schools, and occasionally they will audit school parties. It just so happens that the junior high school we are going to attend is on their audition list, so I think the first freshman party in junior high school in half a year will be your best opportunity to show yourself." Lin Zhengren looked back at him and said, "Your parents are not very resistant to you learning music. When they take the initiative to invite you, your uncle and aunt will definitely not refuse." Jiang Zuli nodded. "Yeah." The two walked under the street lights in the community, and Lin Zhengren said in front, "I won't teach you other skills in the next 6 months. The main thing is to improve your on-site ability and consolidate the singing methods you have learned. Not being stage frightened and having momentum are big plus points for children." "Yeah." After saying that, Lin Zhengren's forehead suddenly bulged with veins, and he turned around and knocked Jiang Zuli hard on the forehead. "What the hell are you doing? What are you daydreaming about? Did you hear me?" Jiang Zuli covered her head in dissatisfaction. "If you heard me, I will definitely study hard. When have I not been serious? Then what's with that expression on your face?" He looked at Jiang Zuli with contempt as she stared at him with jealousy. Jiang Zuli's face was puffed up, and she turned her head and snorted, "Nothing. I just want to ask who is the girl who called you just now?" "Her name is He Qing," she muttered softly. "Why does she keep calling you?" "What does it have to do with you?" Lin Zhengren told the truth. "She is my childhood sweetheart. She transferred to another school before but we are still in touch now." "Huh?" She didn't understand. "Childhood sweetheart? Isn't my childhood sweetheart your childhood sweetheart? I have known you since the first grade." Chapter 25 God-Given Fate. "That's true, if you put it that way." Lin Zhengren's face was calm, "But she has known me since kindergarten." "You?" Jiang Zuli was speechless and suddenly became angry. She clenched her fists, put her hands behind her back and leaned forward like an airplane with its nose tilted up. "Then what am I? I've known you the longest. Logically speaking, you two can be considered childhood sweethearts. As for the time you have known each other, she was in the first or second grade of kindergarten, and you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. The more Lin Zhengren spoke, the angrier Jiang Zuli became. She puffed up her cheeks and was about to hit Lin Zhengren with her fists. "You really make me angry." But the hit was not painful. "What's there to be angry about? There's no rule that I can only have one childhood sweetheart." Lin Zhengren caught her phantom fists one by one. "Besides, I'm telling the truth. You don't want me to lie to you, right?" "That's true. If you lie to me, I'll be even angrier when I find out later." She stopped her fists, but closed her eyes and shouted, "But I just feel something is wrong." She stared at Lin Zhengren, feeling angry and weird at the same time. In the end, she could only snort, flicker twin ponytails and walk away. Lin Zhengren stood there and asked, "You're walking so fast? Don't you need me to see you off?" "No need to see you off. I live across the street anyway. Go back and call your childhood sweetheart. She's waiting for you," Lin Zhengren responded. "Then drive slowly on your way." Jiang Zuli stopped and gritted her teeth, her fists clenched tightly, and she turned around suddenly, ready to go. "Come and see me off." "I told you not to see me off, so don't. I'll make the call after I see you off." "Didn't you say you didn't need me to see you off?" "I didn't." She was annoyed. "You always know how to bully me. Why are you so obedient now? Since you want to see me off, don't change because of what I said." Lin Zhengren wanted to say that he really felt it didn't matter whether he saw her off or not, and he went downstairs mainly to talk about singing. Jiang Zuli knew that if she said anything else, he might not send her off, so she walked straight to him and looked up at him. "Big idiot, send me off." Lin Zhengren looked at her in shame. These little girls were really troublesome. After sending Jiang Zuli off, who was full of jealousy, Lin Zhengren returned home to answer the phone. As a result, He Qing opened her mouth and said, "Who was playing at your house just now? Was it a girl?" "Lin Zhengren, this winter, the snow fell heavier and earlier than in previous years." Although Jiang Zuli started humming from time to time after knowing that she had a childhood sweetheart, she was still very serious about learning to sing. It was almost the 12th lunar month, and Lin Zhengren was going to the mall today to buy some music materials to teach Jiang Zuli. The sky was snowing heavily, and Lin Zhengren walked towards the mall on the not-so-thick snow. When he passed a corner, a girl wearing a down jacket, a leg-bearing artifact, and a scarf walked on the same road as him. The girl had an indescribable jasmine fragrance on her body. Lin Zhengren didn't care at first, he just saw that the girl was walking at the same speed as him, in front of him. The scarf under her long hair reached her waist, swinging like a fox's tail with her steps. After walking for a distance, the girl with the scarf seemed to feel that someone was always behind her, so she looked back. Lin Zhengren realized that not only her scarf looked like a fox, but she also looked like one. Her oval face had delicate features, especially her eyes with a hint of natural charm, like a reincarnation of a fox spirit, very distinctive. Because the mall was very close to the junior high school he was about to attend, Lin Zhengren was very familiar with this road, but the fox didn't seem to know the route very well. He stopped at a bus stop and blinked his fox eyes in confusion. Where's number 1 middle school? I can't recognize it in the snow. Lin Zhengren casually pointed to the road in the distance. Number 1 middle school is at the end. The fox looked at him curiously and smiled in gratitude. Thank you, handsome guy. The two went their separate ways. Lin Zhengren picked out the materials in the mall and received a call from Zhang Zuli on the way. Big idiot, are you going shopping? Why don't you call me to go with you? Lin Zhengren picked and chose. Why do you want to go? I'll find you after I buy these things. Just wait at home. After buying the things, he was about to leave the mall, but he met the fox again on the way out. She seemed to be here to buy things too. The second time they met, the little fox nodded politely to Lin Zhengren because the other party had helped him. Lin Zhengren also nodded. Passing by, the little fox picked up the phone to report the travel situation to her best friend. Hello He Qing? I went to number 1 middle school. The environment is good. Although you are not allowed to enter, it looks beautiful. She covered her mouth and listened to her best friend's description. I know, I'll take 2 photos of you when the time comes, and tell you about this trip when I go back. Because he had to take the bus back, Lin Zhengren took his things and walked to the bus stop. The bus in the town only came half an hour. The snow was getting heavier and heavier. Except for the highway, the whole city was white. The bus booth was also covered with a thick layer of snow. A person waited at the bus stop for 10 minutes. Finally, another person came to wait for the bus. But the other party looked very familiar. Han Wenwen saw the boy she met for the 3rd time at the bus stop with her shopping. Even she couldn't help but tilt her head in confusion. Lin Zhengren was even more confused. The two smiled at each other and stood on both sides of the bus stop. Lin Zhengren looked into the distance and suddenly remembered something. Wasn't the best friend of the fox He Qing in the south a fox? I think her name is Wenwen. But it shouldn't be like the one I met today. Han Wenwen was on the other end, poking the screen with her phone. The cold made her fingertips pink. After chatting with her bestie for a while, she was looking through the album and suddenly saw the photos of Liangsan Festival half a year ago. It is said that after praying for marriage on Liangsan Festival, the true love will come within a year. Even if the person praying for marriage is not with a true love for the time being, they will definitely meet each other in some kind of scene. Han Wenwen smiled and sent the school photos she took to He Qing. She has been curious about how the true love will appear in the past 6 months. A cat's cry interrupted Han Wenwen's WeChat chat and also interrupted Lin Zhengren's thoughts. The two looked behind them together. They found that on a big tree behind the bus stop, a kitten was stuck on the treetop and couldn't come down, and it seemed that the sound was pitiful because of the cold. Lin Zhengren and Han Wenwen didn't say anything, but just walked over to take a look tacitly. The tree trunk was very straight and tall, and it was impossible to climb up because of the snow. Can it be rescued? Such a small cat will freeze to death if it doesn't come down, Han Wenwen asked. Lin Zhengren looked up at the shivering kitten. You go find a cardboard box, I'll find a stool, let's try. Okay, the two of them went to find tools, and soon they returned to the tree with full mobility. Lin Zhengren put a broken chair under the tree, and Han Wenwen supported him. Lin Zhengren held up a huge cardboard box and called the kitten to jump into the box. Maybe the kitten felt the kindness of the two people, and tried to muster up the courage to jump into the cardboard box, but fell down because of its slip. Fortunately, Lin Zhengren was quick to catch the kitten in the box. Han Wenwen was scared. After the rescue, Han Wenwen squatted on the ground and touched the kitten's head, smiling happily. This shouldn't be a stray cat. I see something tied around its neck, she said. Wait here for a while, Maybe someone will come to find you. Yes, the two stood together under the bus stop. Han Wenwen squatted on the ground to take care of the kitten and took the initiative to speak. My name is Han Wenwen, Han Wenwen. Lin Zhengren felt that this name was the same as the name of He Qing's best friend. Lin Zhengren, your last name is Lin. Han Wenwen looked up unexpectedly. What's wrong? Lin Zhengren's eyes were different from those of ordinary boys, because he was not as naive as his peers. Once they looked at each other, Han Wenwen, who was good at observing men's thoughts, immediately noticed it and smiled and shook her head. Nothing, the name is very nice. She lowered her head and touched the kitten's head, curious if Lian Xingji was really so accurate. She had met so many boys, but this boy's eyes were completely different from those of other boys, as if he was not interested in her at all, and everything was so coincidental. Han Wenwen spoke again. If we are destined to meet, maybe we will see each other again in the future. She tilted her head and smiled at Lin Zhengren, with a hint of foxy charm. Lin Zhengren thought to himself that if you are really He Qing's best friend, then we will indeed meet again. Perhaps. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.